What's up, YouTube? It's Trevor with High Desert Tactical, and I don't have a webcam anymore, so you'll just have to look at my little goofy icon, or I can show you the screen share, which is going to be this guy right here. Make sure that we can see it. Nope, that doesn't work. There we go. Woo, look how crazy that looks. Okay, so right now it's the 2016 U.S. election results, and to the surprise to a lot of people, Trump is in the lead as of right now with 232 electoral votes versus 209 with Hillary Bozo Clinton. To be honest with you, I'm not the biggest fan of Hillary, and if you know anything about my YouTube channel, it probably is no surprise. Not to say Trump is the greatest man in the world or not, but in the way our elections work, the lesser evil is always the better option. So honestly, I'm just rooting that Hillary loses. I could care less if she lost to a freaking box of crackers. So right now we're looking at that Trump did get a hold of Georgia. So he got like so many electoral votes from them. And that would be right here. Georgia was 16 electoral votes. So that really helped him out. Pennsylvania is one that everybody was talking about. They were really hoping that, you know, people are rooting for Trump, hoping that he'd win that. That would help give him a big edge. But with the win from Georgia, that really pushed him ahead for the most part. Nevada is leaning towards a Democratic vote as of right now, but they do flip-flop back and forth. If you were watching earlier, Florida switched from Republican to Democratic. Now they finally came in with a Republican overall. The crazy thing about Nevada is I'm a little surprised that it's leaning towards the blue. For those of you who are listening, it would be kind of interesting for you to set up some comments. Let me know why you think Nevada is leaning towards Democratic. Utah and Arizona are coming in at red, but that can change. Minnesota, Democratic, but we still got Iowa, Wisconsin, and Michigan. These three battle, like this is Michigan, I think, is a battleground state. That's a big deal. New Hampshire is really not a major thing, but if you look at New Hampshire, Michigan is 16 electoral votes. So that's a really big deal. New Hampshire right here is 4 electoral votes, and it's 48% to Trump versus 46 for Hillary. So let me see if I got to figure out how to actually see if there's any comments coming in, because you guys might have picked up. This was definitely a spur of the moment thing. I didn't really think I was going to do any video, but this election is really crazy to me, to be honest with you, because I thought it was going to be like, I thought it would be nuts. Hold on, there's going to be a second. So 1 second. So I don't know. It doesn't look like anybody's commenting right now. Hold on, guys. Sorry. You guys probably can see what I'm doing on screen anyways. I just wanted to see if the comments are working. So as of for now, if you guys see this video and I'm live and you guys want to hop in the chat and maybe share your points of view, send me a private message through my YouTube channel. So see what's going on. And it looks like nobody's really watching my channel anyway. It says there's 1 viewer, and that's me. So yeah, doing a lot of people. I was listening to the radio on the way home from work, and Trump is doing so much better than what people anticipated. They honestly believe that a lot of people were speculating that he wouldn't get any further than 204 electoral votes to be the overall win. And now he's at 232, which is like, I mean, it's still a super tight race. I mean, no one's saying that he's winning or Hillary's won or not, but it's way closer than they thought. And I was listening to, like, I think it was NPR, and if I'm incorrect, then I apologize, but they had some guy that was reporting through a phone call, and he was basically commenting on how amazed he was at how many women were voting for Trump, that they were just, and I quote, they were coming in droves to vote for him. And he just said it was really funny that he, people are attracted to narcissists, and, referring to Trump as a narcissist, and that men and women find this machismo to be attractive to them. And that was like just crazy. So yeah. Oh, let me give you High Desert Pioneer's got a chat going on, so you guys can check him out. I didn't actually see his chat, so if for some reason he's listening to me at this moment, just because he's getting after me, he says, get out of my chat. So he's covering the chat, or covering the election as well, which is probably way more informative than mine, to be honest with you. So if you're listening and you want to find something more entertaining and a lot more informative, go over to the High Desert Pioneers channel. He's got a chat going right now. Let me see if I can actually find his chat. Maybe we can double spy him. Did you... Oh, I'm in the wrong search here. I'm pretty sure you guys can see everything that I'm doing. So what do you guys think? Like, where do you think the polls are at now compared to what you were thinking? I mean, a lot of people were dumbfounded as of right now. They can't believe it's going on. I don't. Oh, my channel's still. Come on. Stop being dumb. Are you done? There we go. Let's see. I'm trying to see if I can find his chat. It doesn't show it. Interesting. So let's see, where are we at? Anything updated? I was really kind of curious if Nevada would flip-flop back and forth, because like Florida was flip-flopping a ton. So I'm really interested to see where Nevada goes. Pennsylvania, I think it's, let me make sure I'm actually right. Yeah, Pennsylvania, 49-48. I mean, it's super close. It could flip-flop. I don't know. I don't think it will, but chances are that let's see. Oh, shoot. There we go. I'm responding to hype. Woohoo! Just letting him know. I'm gonna try and figure out where his video is. Let's see. Caught in the middle 3 hours ago. What is this? Let's see what this says. Let's see if we can hear him.
Hey YouTube, coming at you dark and late. Hit with the time change. Obviously, we are now subject to being around when the sun goes down a lot later when you get off the job. But today's election day. Everybody's out there voting. Everybody's on the polls. Everybody's proud of their vote, et cetera, et cetera. Had a good chat on Tony's chat last night, his final push chat, where he's pushing the Trump train down the tracks.
Yeah, the Pioneer does not like Trump.
But I was fortunate enough, I voted a week ago, and I only voted twice more today. And no, I wasn't committing election fraud. And what I did is I went shopping. Got my own receipts for my vote, and this is my vote of no confidence in the system. That's what I'm talking about. Staying on top of your game, being prepared. as a vote of no confidence in this.
Interesting. I'm going to have to listen to that. I don't know if you guys actually can hear the video that I'm listening to anyways. Let's see. Cole Hood. It's been close of a race for my taste. The thought of that cow winning turns my stomach. Which one's the cow? That could go for both of them, Cole. Which one's the cow, buddy? Let me know. Let's see if it's updated at all. So Utah went with Republican, so that pushed Trump to 238. Hillary's still holding at 209. Iowa, Wisconsin, and Michigan still cruising there. Nevada is very interesting. I keep pointing this out. 50 to 45. That's not looking that great. I'm surprised, but I'm not surprised. I would totally think that Nevada would have leaned more towards red, but doesn't mean a whole lot, to be honest with you. So we got we had 5 watching. I highly doubt there's going to be a lot going on here. Like I said, just to remind you guys, if you want to join the chat, it would be cool to let me know, send me a message, and it would be kind of cool to have you join the chat, get your input, because I can't cover a whole lot, to be honest with you, and plus the video could be extremely boring. Let's see. I'm trying to get back into my woo. That would be, let's see, resume hangout on here. There we go. I was trying to get back into my window. Oh, wait. What's going on here? Hit it. Oh, no. Dang it. Dang it. I'm so lost. How do I? Oh. Let's stop sharing. Did I really lose it? Leave. Okay. I was screen sharing and then I got lost. So I don't know if this video stopped or paused or whatever, but I apologize for that. I'm trying to see about getting. Oh, cool. Thank you. So the cow is Hillary. Yeah, her winning definitely makes my stomach churn. For those of you that are just kind of tuning in, maybe listen to what I was doing. Yeah, definitely sick to my stomach to think about Hillary winning. Not so great. But yeah. So let's see. Utah, Arizona. So Arizona hasn't come in yet. It is 49 to 46. Very close. Alaska doesn't start posting their results until 10 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, which is like an hour and a couple minutes away from now. I don't know. That's only 3 electoral votes, so it's not a big deal, but it could come down to the wire because of that. Nevada is still 50 to 45. It's tight. So Reno and Las Vegas, I got a little bit of red in here. The districts or counties. Actually, let's check out Oregon. Obviously, I'm from Oregon. We obviously went Republican. Look at that. See this BS? This is the thing about Oregon that pisses me off. This is like the majority. This is the I-5 corridor, basically, right here. So I-5 goes, boop, then it goes all the way up to Washington, all the way down, and pretty much, no offense, but all the yuppies and freaking Democratic liberal yahoos keep Portland weird live there. Now, if you watch my channel and you're from there, no hard feelings. I apologize to you. I mean, I appreciate those of you that do kind of figure out, or listen to what I got to say and stuff. But like, that's this right here. So if Oregon, look at this, all Republican right here. And this is what makes it call in where she got our 7 electoral votes. That's just bogus, to be honest with you. That's a line of BS. So I was like trying to see if anybody wanted to join the chat. No. Yeah, nobody. It's so funny. I'm not exactly sure where my inbox is anymore. I think it's under community. Published comments held for review. I guess. Oh. I don't know. This video shouldn't be too long, to be honest with you. I don't want to bore you guys too much. I just figured I would hop on here and just give my 2 cents and figure out what's going on. Here's some people feel the pain. I live in California. So 5x56. Thanks for joining, dude. But some pre-ban gear. That's always good. You always want to get ahead of the curve. Make sure that you cover your bases before they decide to take it away from you. Just be responsible and respectful as best as you can. Cole says, I'm not really sure how Trump is going to handle this, though. It's a little different than Fortune 500 companies, still better than the alternative. To be honest, that's a really good point, Cole. To be honest, he may or may not be able to handle being president. I mean, that's totally understandable. I can kind of agree with that. And the only thing I would say is that's why you have a panel of people that work with you. And if he's smart, I mean, he's got Pence, who has he's a seasoned politician, whether you like him or you don't. He knows how to do things. And to be honest with you, that's probably for all the things that's been going on with Trump, Pence was his best bet to back him up. And I think he got lucky, because he could have gotten somebody way worse, or nobody would want to even stand behind him. So the other thing too is there's going to be advisors and stuff in the White House that are going to assist him. And so I'm hoping that he may or may not be fitted for it, but if he's smart enough, he's going to have people help him handle the situation, if that's making sense. Examine Life of Gaming, also known as Jack of Trade. What's up, dude? I'm glad that you're here. You should join the chat if you want, if you got a live mic or whatever. And then 5x56 bought his AR-15 and 99. Yep, right before they got rid of him. Did you have to put a bullet button on yours, or a magazine lock? I've always been curious about that. We don't have bullet buttons or magazine locks or whatever on our ARs up here, so you should let me know about that. Let's see. I have a mic set up. What's the procedure? All right. I'm going to send you a link here. Give me a second. Going to send you a link here, and if I can figure out how to do this. Hold on. So I'm sending you a link. I've Examine Life inbox. So here, give me 1 second. You're going to get it in a few. Hold on. I got to figure out where I'm at. I kind of wish I had other people in this chat with me, because to be honest with you, it would make it easier, because I pause and there's quiet moments. Obviously, I would never make a very good radio host. It would be kind of cool. I don't know. Do I sound like I'd make a good radio host if I could actually speak it in English? So let's see. All right. Sending you the link now. Examine. I want to say your first name, but I don't know if you dig people knowing that. Okay, sent you the link. So you should just follow those steps and you can get on the chat. The old chatteroo. Let's see. So 5x56. I can answer your California question. I also have a converted California. Oh, coveted. So you got a CCW in California too? So how do you actually get a CCW or a concealed carry permit in California? Like, I mean, I know that they're pretty hard to get. I don't really know much about California, honestly. I did live in Sacramento for a little over a couple years. I did fire and water restoration for a carpet company, and this was actually before I started actually really pursuing my Second Amendment rights and learning about concealed carry and self-protection in various ways, whether you take self-protection class like through karate or jiu-jitsu or anything like that, or even taking handgun lessons and things like that. If you guys are ever interested in why I started concealed carrying, I do have a video up that tells the story about how I finally realized why people carried guns. Because I did grow up with guns all my life, shooting them for fun, and grew up with a healthy respect for them and everything. And I never really thought that they were needed to protect myself from people, even let alone animals. Like, I knew that you could carry a gun to protect yourself from cougar or bear, because we do have that here. But I never thought about it for people. And so if you want to hear that story, go back to my videos and just like put in the search bar, like why I conceal carry. And it's a really old video. It's not the greatest, but it tells you my story if you're interested in it. And Cole, I appreciate it. Thanks for letting me know that I'm doing okay, because I honestly don't feel like I'm doing very good. So right, kind of back to my.
I might have done this correctly. I don't know for sure.
Oh yeah, you are. You're here. You're here. I hear you.
Nice. Okay, I'm embarrassingly bad at everything on YouTube.
Oh, shut your mouth. You're stupid. God. Whatever. Here, hold on. I don't know if you've been following. 5x56 was talking about how he has his concealed carry in California, and so I was asking him how he got it. And let's see. So I'm just gonna read his comment out loud. People can see it in the comments. It says last year they challenged the May issue ruling in California, where a few counties here were to sheriff's pro-gun issue. I'm like breezing through it. I'm in Orange County, and at that moment they are issuing. So Orange County was actually more fair to allowing people to get concealed weapons without like thinking the government was going to blow you up, or there's like the mafia had a hit on you or something. He goes, if you're in Los Angeles or San Diego County, forget about a CCW. That makes sense. And Cole says, I'm more likely to be mauled by a wild hog than being mugged. Well, I don't know. I don't know. I almost had my head bashed in by people. That's part of my story. Okay, so we have. Can I say your first name?
Well, yeah. I mean, I use so many names on the internet.
Okay,
it's probably
what's
just
your
easiest to go with Aiden, which is my actual name. So.
Okay. Well, and I'm Trevor, and that's my actual name, so we're no secrets. So I got Aiden. He is a fellow YouTuber I've known for, I don't know, what, 3 years now? Maybe longer?
Probably.
Yeah, I think a little about at least 2 years of YouTubing. But I think we've talked through YouTube, and then you started your Jack of Trade channel, and then he does have the Examine Life of Gaming, which is kind of like a, I don't know, you like give a really detailed background of unique first-person games. I don't even know how to explain it.
Well, yeah,
because I'm not a gamer.
I started off with like kind of two parallel types of episode, if you will. So there was the Budget Barrel, which was all about budget games. Because when I was a kid, like I didn't have a good computer, and I didn't really have a lot of like money, you know, for computer games. And my family was, you know, super like hippies, you know, no video games, no TV, anything like that. So I bought a lot of those like $10 video games that you find at, you know, the grocery store or whatever, because that was what always kind of, you know, stood out to me. And those were the crappy old games that would run on my terrible, crappy old computer. So yeah, so half of it was like budget games, and the other half of it was just like other games that I played when I was a kid, you know, in the 90s. And since then, it's evolved into just really viciously angry takedowns of of gaming culture. I don't know. It's weird. It's weird right now. I don't make videos as often as I used to, but when I do, they're like 40 minutes long and extremely angry.
Well, that's okay. I'm an extremely angry Republican in a Democratic state, so imagine that. We probably have lots of people that listen to this and probably feel our pain. But not off subject, but I just want to point out that Pennsylvania actually is swinging back to Republican. It was holding Democrat. It is, where's it at? Hold on. Pennsylvania. So it's 48% to 48% right now. You're looking at 200 and so how the hell would you even word that? Like, fuck, I don't explain. There's like
electoral college votes.
No, that I'm just thought the state hasn't been won by the electoral yet.
Yeah.
But right now, like Trump's ahead by like maybe 10,000 votes on just the standard votes, and then whatever swings that to the electoral.
This whole
I just thought that was
been
crazy.
surprisingly tense. I was expecting kind of a devastating Trump loss, so this has all been a really exciting evening so far.
Well, that's the thing too, is people, that's like, you're exactly right. Like I even like being who I am, like I loathe Hillary Clinton. She is an evil person. And Trump, not the greatest guy in the world, but like I was saying earlier that, you know, like that, it sucks. That's how our system is. It comes down to two people. Two people are going to like battle for being president, and whoever's the lesser evil is the one I want. And like, unfortunately, that's Trump, because like, if you want to compare apples to oranges, Hillary is like the devil come up from hell to like regain the earth and just destroy it. And Trump is like the guy that's like trying to build a bunker and just survive. I don't know. I mean, that's a terrible analogy. But that's crazy. Pennsylvania's swinging back to Republican. We may get lucky. That was what they were talking about earlier on the radio today, that they were saying, like, if Trump can get a hold of Pennsylvania, that's going to give him a huge lead. But what's crazy is other states have really pushed for him where he may not even need him. Florida, they were saying Florida was going to help create that. It's a swing state. And a lot of people were thinking that it was going to go Republican or Democrat. And I was thinking it was going to go Democrat, and it called in at, let's see, what did it call in? I'm using Google as my source. Probably, and what's really funny is Google's very pro Hillary. So
yeah,
this is interesting. So hold on, let me find Florida, if I know how to actually do things alphabetically. Florida.
Now, Florida, I keep hearing from different sources that Florida is called Trump, and then a couple minutes later they walk it back and say, well, it's still up in the air. So is it officially called via, I don't know, Google or whoever we feel like listening to?
Well, I'm listening to Google, and it says Google's called. It's checked. It says that it's won. It was 49% to 48%. You're looking at like I'm so bad at math. Like, it's 4,500,079 612.
Okay. So Google's map shows Florida solid red Trump. So they're still showing toss-ups in Nevada, Arizona, Minnesota, Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Maine. I think that's the only ones that they have. There's New Hampshire. So those are the only up in the air states according to them. Although they do have projections.
Dude, but if he pulls Michigan, that's 16 electoral votes. That's going to push him pretty darn far ahead.
Mm-hmm.
The one thing about I'm really like, so hey, so if you follow this enough, are you surprised that Nevada is swinging towards Democrat, or is that just like, is it just the way the votes are right now and it could flip flop just like Pennsylvania right now is? Pennsylvania has been sitting blue for a while as they're tallying or whatever they're going to do. And now, right now, it's showing that they're Republicans ahead.
They're leaning reds, kind of surprising. Yeah. I don't know about Nevada because when I just picture Nevada in my head, I think it's solidly Republican.
Yeah.
But, you know, I mean, there's Las Vegas, and there's a lot of, you know, kind of big city hubs that could kind of overwhelm the vote. Kind of like I think we have here in Oregon. Like a lot of people in Oregon are very conservative, you know, especially with kind of that West Coast, like freedom loving, you know, the hippies don't necessarily, it's not necessarily a Democrat only ideology, you know, like the West Coast hippie thing is kind of more freedom and less Democrat. So Oregon is overwhelmed by Portland.
Well, yeah, but okay, so like
Nevada, yeah, I think that may be happening with Nevada. But the other thing is, like, I've seen a lot of early projections saying that Nevada was a solid Democrat state.
yeah.
So I guess that's just the way that it is. And also, I was very surprised, and I was looking up concealed carry maps, reciprocity maps, to see where I could travel with my permit.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, Nevada doesn't honor an Oregon permit, so if I go to Utah, I have to make sure not to dip into Nevada.
Yeah, you gotta be. Yep. Well, like when I was went down to SHOT Show, I didn't carry my gun down there.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah,
you know,
I mean, they probably don't allow it on the floor anyway, right? The convention floor.
no, they don't. But I mean, the point is, I like to have it on me while I'm in my car and driving, and you never know, stopping at a gas station.
Yeah, trying to get the I don't know if you want to change subject to concealed carry so abruptly, but that's the thing that really, you know, I went on a trip down to Utah, and I was like, I'm going to be gone for, you know, a week and a half or so. A lot of driving, you know, a lot of new places that I don't know particularly well. I really would have liked to carry, but I was looking up like the different laws, like, okay, how do I have to store it when transferring between Oregon and Idaho? How do I have to store it when going between Idaho and Utah? What if we decide to make a little side sojourn into Nevada? Oh, now I'm in trouble. Yeah, so too difficult. Just decided not to do it, and luckily I didn't get shot, stabbed, or mugged.
Yes.
Not that lucky. I mean, it's Utah. Come on.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I've only been there once, so. So I just want to. So I'm just going back to the comments because I don't, you know, there's not many people watching, but Jason McKay, why do I say McKay? Just saying what's up. I know that guy. He's a good dude. And then
like this Hillary is a heinous ghoul reared from the foulest corruption in the deepest pit of hell.
I know, dude. Cole Hood's got
charitable there, Cole.
Yeah, dude. He's got some good put. Also, I don't know if 5x56. It sounds like he's taken off, and if he catches this, thanks for stopping by, dude, and commenting. I really do appreciate it. The involvement means a lot to me. A lot. Because I don't do much on YouTube as much as I should.
Yeah, I was going to ask about that, but then it seemed rude, so I didn't.
No, dude. So, let me check the polls. I want to keep us on task.
Yep.
We'll do a hangout and we'll talk about our channels.
Sure.
Next time, because now you know how to get in a hangout and we can broadcast it on the YouTubies.
Yeah,
maybe we'll talk about. Yeah. Let me just check. Pennsylvania's still leaning towards red. Michigan's leaning toward. I think Michigan's going to stick to red, but I should keep my mouth shut. I don't want to jinx myself. Wisconsin, Nevada.
Pennsylvania is razor thin margin there. It's 3,000 votes difference, so I wouldn't feel comfortable calling that.
Well, I know, but it's just I'm hopeful.
Yeah.
Let me be hopeful. Don't crush my dream.
Sorry, yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe Hawaii will change their mind and they'll go Trump all of a sudden. I don't know. Anything could happen.
Now you're making fun of me. Thank you. So let's see. Yeah. So Nevada's still leaning towards blue. Arizona's still leaning towards red. We keep in that motion. I don't care what anybody says. I just don't want the devil to win. Yeah. So I don't work at the job I used to do, which was very oriented around firearms and outdoors and things like that. So I had access to stuff and ideas and people to talk to and just kind of help drive my YouTube. And since I'm not with them anymore, I'm back into the IT area. So well, I mean, not legitimate. So basically I build copy machines and network them. That's what I do. I set up user codes and all kinds of garbage. it's just, I don't know. It's a better paying job, and and financially I need to work harder to be able to take care of like Sarah and I. So it's harder for me to do YouTube because I work longer days, and the way my days are, I pretty much work like right in the middle. So I don't have time either in the morning or in the night to do videos. And we're in the middle of like building some stuff. And as soon as that stuff's built, I'll be able to get my little mini studio back to normal. And I might be able to start making videos again. But until then, it kind of sucks.
I was thinking I need to pick your brain about it. Actually, I think you made a video about it, so I should just watch that again. But how to make a good light box for photography, because I have all these. I don't know. As always with me, I probably have like 20 videos, mostly written and pre-processed, and it's just a matter of finding time, at least for like the gun stuff, to go out and shoot. And have to get lucky with the rain around here. Have to get lucky with the light, because unless you have a really awesome camera, it's really hard to get good footage unless you're in the sunlight.
Yeah.
Just a slow process. That's why video games is so much easier. You can record video games at any time of day, any weather, anywhere you want.
Whenever you want, anywhere you want. Yeah, I have a video on how to make like just some good light, like just regular lights out of like
shop lights and
exactly. But if you want to make a good light box, you could take so if you want a light box to like put product in, is that what you're talking about?
Not quite to that level, sort of like an improved tabletop, not for like tabletop reviews, but just for tabletop footage. It is kind of fun to just ramble on in a tabletop style, but I think my strength is definitely in actually scripting and editing together, a produced video.
Oh, dude, you and me both.
So,
you know what my style's like. I'm the same way. Like half my videos are about a billion different takes until I can finally get something to sound somewhat rational.
Yeah. That's why I write it, because if I try to sound, intelligent off the cuff, it kind of comes off as breathless and rambling.
So it looks like Nevada called in.
Yep, Nevada blue.
Yep, Nevada went. What did they get? 6 electoral votes, 49% to 45%. That's a big.
That's a gap.
That's big. That's big compared to some of the other states that were, so close to each other. I mean, we're looking at like Nebraska, 34% to Hillary, 60% to Trump. Like that's a huge gap. Minnesota, 39 to 54. Or I'm sorry, Montana, not Minnesota. Missouri, 36 to 59. Mississippi, 41 to 57. Like I'm pretty amazed but that's tight for Nevada. That's crazy.
So Cole, the question, I think Cole brings up a good point, that the stock market's tanking because of this election. It's like, do you think they're worried about Clinton, or are they worried about Trump?
What is
the stock market reacting to?
Yeah. You know what? To be honest with you, I believe that, and this is just my uneducated, not super researched response, and I want to get yours, Aiden.
Sure.
I think it's responding to Trump. Country. I believe a lot of exterior investors are dumping stuff because they don't want to like invest in us if we're going to end up having Trump as a president. So they're like cutting their losses before it gets worse.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I think.
A lot of that is unfounded, but to some extent it totally makes sense. Like, you know what you're getting with Hillary Clinton. You have no idea what's going to happen if you get Trump in the White House.
Well, and that's the thing too, is like Hillary's been she's been buying and paying and getting paid off and paying people off for millennia. She's like, or not millennia, but decades. She is a career politician, so she's stroked people's wieners and rubbed whatever asses need to be rubbed, and like, took it where she needed to take it so she could get where she needed to be. So like you said, everybody kind of knows what they're getting, but everybody's going to get paid one way or another. But with Trump, the one thing about Trump that makes me nervous is our foreign policy. Cause he's going to we never know, man. He could totally get elected and he could be completely the opposite of what we think we are. Like think he is. Like maybe everybody thinks he's a blowhard and he's going to tell China to fuck off and tell people to stick it up their butt and like, you know, and Mexico goodbye. And in reality, he may be like super mellow. Like somebody's going to be sitting behind him, telling him, okay, Trump, these are the things we need to do. Yes or no. And he's like, well, I think that's great. Let's do that. And they're like, okay, don't open your mouth. This is how we're going to do it. And it's going to look great when you do it this way. Don't be like, I'm a blowhard freaking narcissist.
I mean, that's what I always think. Like, if I had to become president all of a sudden with no knowledge of politics, no career in politics, it wouldn't be that difficult, I think, to surround yourself with a bunch of experts whose opinions you trust, and then say, you know, I am the hand on the tiller, but I've got the best crew in the country. You know, like,
yeah, exactly.
Trump can create an all-star team. He can create the ultimate, you know, whiz kid team. And basically he says, like, I set the policy, and then these guys make sure that we do everything perfectly right. So I don't think necessarily that his inexperience in politics is going to mean like he's going to screw up the economy or foreign relations. And I think that his bloviating nature is not really going to be that big of a deal. I think, like, if he says something rude to China, China's like, well, hey, you're lost, buddy. You know, our economy's humongous. If you don't want a piece of that, you know, that's your problem.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Well,
Hillary Clinton, at least the current administration, and almost guaranteed if Hillary wins, the same problem is going to be that the United States keeps interfering with other things in other parts of the world and keeps pushing Russia's buttons until we get nuked or they get nuked. So that's, I think, she'll be nice, but then she'll also try to destabilize, you know, Russia or one of Russia's allies, and then now we got nuclear war.
So, like, one thing that I think about too is, like, with our current leadership everybody's like, they're sympathizers with like countries that we shouldn't really sympathize with. We should either just be like, we want nothing to do with you, you know, do your own stuff. But we, you know, and then the other thing too is we're so PC sensitive, and everybody wants to pussyfoot around and be like, don't hurt nobody's feelings. And to be honest with you, I think Trump is doing so much better than what all these people, especially the mass media, anticipated, is because I believe the majority of America, whether we want to admit it, and some of the people that have voted for Trump and maybe won't say a word, you know, they're sitting in the corner going, yeah, I voted for Trump, but I'm not telling nobody that. Yeah. They want an outspoken guy to put it. I mean, they want a Teddy Roosevelt.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? They want a Teddy Roosevelt. They want
the bull moose party.
Exactly. You know, I mean, not necessarily an Abraham Lincoln, but Abraham Lincoln, like, was like he was hated. Like, the country was divided in half when he decided to, like, basically annihilate our free workforce, because people should be free, not slaves, no matter what they are, who they are, you know. And but people hated him. But look at what, I mean, now he's like one of the best presidents. People still rank, you know, Abraham Lincoln one of the best presidents ever. I mean, he abolished slavery. So,
I do think it's interesting, though. Like, most people seem to have already forgotten about the whole controversy with the Confederate flag, but I think it did inspire some people to look more deeply at the Civil War, the start of the Civil War, and sort of realize that abolishing slavery was not really something that was being done anyway. It's not like I am going to become president so I can abolish slavery. It was more like, it looks like the South is trying to secede for tax reasons. Well, I know how we can really screw them over. We can abolish slavery, in which, as my understanding is, it was only abolished in the southern states. It was not abolished in the northern states where there still was slavery. So it was basically just a cause. Yeah. So from my understanding it's basically just a cause celebre for the Civil War. It was basically saying, we don't want the South to secede because it'll be an economic hit. We need that tax revenue from all the, you know, the huge, like the plantations or just the food production, the industry in the South.
Yeah.
We can't let that go. So we'll say that we need to free the slaves, and that gives us an excuse to go to war and put the South back under control. So I think there's a lot more nuance there. Obviously, I'm never going to be in favor of slavery, but it doesn't seem like the motives for ending slavery were really pure.
Well, that's a good
two-faced.
That's kind of a good point. I mean, there is always, it's quid quo pro You know what I mean? And like that makes sense. I mean, there's always going to be somebody's got to get a little bit of money in their pocket. You know, even if it just depends. I mean, that's not the best.
Well, it's sort of like, I
statement,
think, like Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders says, vote for me and I will give you a bunch of free stuff. I can almost see that the abolishing of slavery as being like, what we need is a lot of support in the South. How can we get it? Let's abolish slavery. Not slavery's wrong, we should get rid of it. More like, what's something we can do to get some more votes?
That's true. I can see that. I'm not going to look that up.
A lot of immigration is that, it's not so much people should be free to come here. It's the people that come here vote for us, therefore they should be free to come here. I don't know. I'm not like a political scholar or anything. In college, I majored in history for about half a term before I realized the classes were just awful.
Dude, I'm going to say this right now to you and like whoever's listening. I'm not an expert either, but the thing is like at least somebody like you and somebody like me, we're willing to talk to everybody and like share our opinions and our thoughts and learn from one another instead of just sitting there shutting our mouths and being told what we need to believe.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like we have ideas, and then, like me, I'm like talking about Abraham Lincoln abolishing slavery. I think that's great. And you're like, well, I heard this and that. And, like that it wasn't just about abolishing slavery. It could be, that was like a, part of an underlying task. It wasn't all just to do that. And I'm like, oh, I didn't know that. I need to think about that. Instead of being like, I can't believe you're bad mouthing. You're saying that Lincoln's a crook.
You son of a bitch. The penny is my favorite form of currency. How dare you?
So Cole says, Cole's input about Trump says, he think he would probably be mellow and he does well in business and you can run a business with raw emotion and succeed. He says, assuming. So, I mean, I agree with Cole. That's kind of how I think it might work. I mean, dude, it could just blow up in our face for all we know.
Oh yeah, definitely.
He said, use slavery to, so he's talking about our conversation about, Lincoln. So Cole's agreeing with you, Aiden, that he says Abraham did use slavery to appeal to the sympathies of the people to win them over. Actually freed till almost a year after the war. And he says he's a history buff or nerd.
Yeah, okay,
prefer.
So
I'm glad Cole's involved in this conversation for sure. I appreciate you being here. I've said that before. I'm just checking the stats.
Pennsylvania is just 2,000 votes ahead for Trump right now. That is really narrow margins. The other one that's important is Michigan, which is, where did I lose? I just had it and I lost it. Michigan is 30,000 votes ahead, so that's a better margin, but it's also a whole lot more votes at stake.
Yeah, it's still it's close, man. It's gonna be. Oh, it's making me sick to my stomach.
Yeah, exactly. I've been feeling that way ever since I got off work, came back home.
Yeah,
I'm going to play some Battlefield 1, and then I was like, oh, I guess I better follow this election. And now it's 5 hours later, and I'm like, oh, Jesus.
I just want this day to be over. I just want them to like figure it out, call it, and then I can either go cry in my cereal or whatever. It just, God.
Win, lose, or draw, I'm looking forward to tomorrow.
Yeah, just to get it over. The one thing I did, it was funny. I was talking to someone in Bend. For those of you, I dig motorcycles. I have a couple bikes I've worked on and built and stuff, and I ride them. But there's a hangout in Bend, Oregon called Spoken Moto. It's over in the Old Mill District. If you guys ever are interested in something to do in Bend and you want to see some old bikes and drink some good microbrews or some really good coffee, they have their own coffee called Megaphone Coffee, which is some of my favorite coffee in all of Oregon because there's several coffee roasters here. And I was talking to one of the bartenders there, or one of the guys working. He is not very pro-Trump, but he was saying, he made a really good point. He's like, I really don't want Trump to win, but I don't want Hillary to win. And he's like, and the way I look at it is if Trump wins, it'll be super easy to impeach him. And he was like saying, but if Hillary wins, that bitch ain't going nowhere because she's such a crooked bastard that we'll be stuck. There's no way the people could get rid of her. And I just thought that was kind of humorous because I mean, like, is it true? I mean, if Trump sucks that bad, are we going to be able to kick his ass out? I mean, if Hillary's so shitty and she gets elected, are we going to be able to kick her ass out? I mean, Obama got elected for 8 years, and from the things that I know, he did not do a very good job. He could have done worse. I mean, we've had worse, but I mean, he could have done better, a lot better.
Yeah, well, I voted for Obama in 2008. That was my first election that I voted in, and I totally drank the Kool-Aid and have been regretting it for 8 years. I mean, obviously, we're from Oregon, so our vote actually doesn't count. That's the great thing about Oregon. So, I mean, yeah, last couple elections I voted Libertarian just to try to move that little number up that says, hey, we don't like this. This is stupid. Let's go Libertarian.
Yeah.
And what did, let me see if I can look it up. How did Oregon do with Gary Johnson?
I don't think he's like 4% or something.
4%. That's so much.
Yep.
That's amazing.
It's, what's really funny is out of the several years I've been able to vote, I'm 35. This is the first year I've actually,
Sorry. That's super old. I can't believe it.
Yeah, but I mean, it's just, I've seen enough, I've gone through enough elections on my own as an actual voter that Gary Johnson was probably the first Libertarian that I've actually seen, like, in the news. Saw signs in Bend, I was up in Tacoma a couple weeks ago filming a band, and there was Gary Johnson signs going on as I was driving back home on Sunday, and he's the first Libertarian I've actually seen get interviewed by some media and things like that. I just found it really entertaining because I tried to think back of any other Libertarians during the other elections, and I can't think of one.
I think Ron Paul came the closest, but he also had exposure because he was a Republican before that, or he was Republican senator, or whatever the hell he was. So, yeah, I think he had a lot of media attention when he left the Republican Party. So that was like the closest the Libertarians ever got to the spotlight. So yeah, no, it's something worth doing, I think, and it's kind of funny because I talk to a lot of people. Pretty much everybody I know, because I'm in the Willamette Valley where everybody votes for Hillary. But I talk to a lot of people, and I was like, hey, your vote actually doesn't matter because it's Oregon. Oregon always goes blue, and our tiny amount of votes, or electoral college votes, don't get split. So no matter what you do, Hillary's already getting all of our votes. It's foregone conclusion. So you might as well vote third party just to send a message, because surely you don't love Hillary Clinton, but the problem is they do love Hillary Clinton.
Oh yeah,
almost everybody.
Absolutely. Well, it's the I-5 corridor. That was one thing I was like talking earlier in my video is I was showing the Oregon map of like all the voting. I'm like, see, look, the whole state is red except for these two spots. And I was like, that's the I-5 corridor, and it's where all the liberals and all the yuppies like to live. And I was like, sorry if you are people that live there and you follow my YouTube, not to sound like a dick, but that's really what it is. It's like the 90% of the state, physically, like looking at it map wise, is Republican, except for these two little fucking dots. But there's like the most concentrated of these doughheads. Oh, don't get me started.
Yeah, it's something that I always think about when I think from my libertarian mindset. I am pretty much a libertarian person, but my perspective on it is that I favor smaller government, and I also favor more localized government, because it really does bother me that people in Portland have all the voting power in Oregon, so they can make decisions for the whole state based on what's good for Oregon or what's good for Portland. So Portland can elect, Kate Brown as governor, and Kate Brown will slam through more executive action on gun control, for example.
Yeah,
the background checks thing.
She has no background in healthcare. She's got no assistance in what she thinks. I mean, actual educated information on what to do, and she just thinks that she's gonna just magically write these laws into effect, and that's gonna fix it. And it's just, I hate her. I dislike her as much as I dislike Hillary Clinton. She doesn't even deserve.
And yeah, that's the other thing is she did not get elected, and now she did get elected, which is
so I have to. She she didn't deserve the position she had prior to the election now. So now I have to kind of shut my mouth because she was voted in the vote to vote. And so, I mean, that's just the way it works. But to be honest with you, I will have to disagree with you on the votes don't matter in Oregon because it's a matter of time whether people are going to learn or get educated a little bit further, and like maybe we'll swing back to Republican. But my dad is born and raised here, just like I am. And my dad has told me that Oregon has been Democratic for so many years. And I actually thought back to when I could remember it being Republican, and I can't. And I really honestly thought it was a red state at one point in time because I remember talking to somebody about it, and I was probably like, I think it was 18. So that's back in like 1998 or 99. And so that would be, I think, 98 or 99. That would be Bush. I think Clinton was just getting out. I don't remember.
Bush 2000. So
yeah. So I mean, it had to be like right
when Clinton was crashing and burning spectacularly, as we expect his wife to do once she becomes elected, if she becomes elected.
Well, dude, so Aiden, so how are you feeling? Is it so close that you can't decide, or do you think that she's going to take it, or did you have the feeling she would take it?
There was a brief moment during Trump's amazing surge where I was like, wow, it looks like he's got it. But now that it's down to the last two, it's basically down to, Michigan and Pennsylvania are the two big ones.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking like, oh gosh, Pennsylvania, Michigan, it's a real tough one. I don't really think, I'm a pessimist, so I don't really think Trump is going to pull this one off.
It's funny. I think a lot of people think that. I agree that I think a lot of people do that. So Pennsylvania is 20 and Michigan is 16. So yeah, if he doesn't pull, I don't know. It's going to be tough.
Lead has increased in Michigan, went up from 30,000 lead to 40,000 lead, approximately, not quite. And what was it doing in Pennsylvania? Pennsylvania, it's, oh shit, son. I think his Pennsylvania lead increased to 20,000 votes.
I think you're right. I'm looking right here.
Okay, that's good. I like that.
Yeah. Well, and then I mean, if he's got
20,
so if he pulls Pennsylvania and Michigan, he's definitely got it. But if he gets Michigan, Wisconsin, and Arizona, so Arizona is 11, Michigan is 16, so that's what? That's 28, 27. 27 plus Wisconsin is no. Where are we at? Wisconsin. Hold on, sorry. It's 10. So we're at 37, right?
Well, he only needs 26. So the forecasts that I've seen so far say that if he clinches Michigan, it's Trump all the way.
You think so? So where's Michigan?
That's what I've heard. I mean, I don't know enough about this to say yes or no on that, but Michigan is, or sorry, not me. What did I say? Pennsylvania. Sorry, Pennsylvania's 20 votes. That takes him right up there. He just needs 6 more.
Exactly.
Seems like he's probably going to get 3 from Alaska. I
think he'll land Arizona. I hope. I think he will. Arizona's looking good.
Yes, it's just nerve-wracking. He's winning New Hampshire by almost nothing, so let's discount that for now.
Yeah, let's see. What is New Hampshire anyway?
Wisconsin is 10, and he's winning in Wisconsin by almost 100,000 votes.
I think
is still up in the air. Yeah.
So when he pulled Florida and South Carolina, that's when they actually started. Originally, they were leaning on Pennsylvania because they thought he was going to lose Florida. Then when South Carolina came through, they were like astonished. They think that he can make it if he doesn't get Pennsylvania anyways. Mm-hmm. See, South Carolina was 9 electoral. I don't know. Maybe it's North Carolina.
That was impressive. I think that was a surprising win.
Where's North Carolina?
North Carolina was, I think, less surprising. That was more of a sure thing.
Yeah, well, that's the thing is North Carolina was, yeah. So that's what I think he pulled those. So if he loses Pennsylvania, odds are still close for him because like pretty much everybody's gone blue except for Maine and Minnesota. I was like, which one is that one? Stupid 2-letter states. I get confused easily. It's not okay.
Just switch it to 3 letters. It'd be so much easier.
Yeah, I would totally get it. Oh, we should also switch to the metric system.
Let's not
I'm
get too
just-
hasty. Okay.
I know.
All right.
whole
Now
world-
I was thinking about voting for you next year, but now I'm totally not gonna.
Oh, damn it.
Well,
No,
have
I'm
I told
just
you
kidding.
my platform for when I run for governor of Oregon?
No, but you
All
will.
right, so-
I will tell you. You have my vote. You have my vote, anyways.
Super. All right. So it's a 3-part platform, and the third part, I forget what the third part is most of the time. So sometimes I'll think of a good idea for the third thing, but then I'll forget it again. But the two that I remember, one is we're bringing back Sudafed. All right, because those other decongestions do not work. And after we got rid of Sudafed, our meth problem did not go away. And also now we have a big heroin problem. So I say give the people back their Sudafed, give the people back their meth, then the heroin problem might be less severe. So that's step one, to make Oregon great again. Step two is making leaf blowers illegal, because I just hate them. They're extremely loud, and they're just a stupid way to clean up leaves. So there you go. That's my two-part. That's the two things that I could think of so far. I don't remember what the third one is, but if I think of something good, I'll let you know.
You still got my vote.
Excellent. That's super.
That's great. I like pseudo is good. Pseudo is good.
Yeah, it just bothers me. It's like, there's a lot of decongestion still in the market here. I can't pronounce the word decongestant. Well, there's a lot of them on the market, and none of them do anything. They're all just a stupid placebo in the absence of Sudafed.
So Cole made a good point. Like, he was talking about how his wife is a Gary Johnson fanboy. I hope she's not listening and gets mad. Sorry if I called you out.
It's just a generic
bit.
term, It's gender neutral.
She said, he goes, I can't really form an opinion on him. And I said, he was kind of funny to watch him in interviews. Like, I've watched a few of his interviews, and he's kind of
he's just a goofball, but it's refreshing, to see somebody who's not very politician-y without being an asshole like Trump.
Yeah, I think he wasn't enough politician for me. Like, some of the stuff he cracked jokes about were just like, I don't know. Coming from one of the most sarcastic, thinks he's funny kind of people, me, that's kind of calling the kettle black. But he also, so Cole, like, one of my favorite things is the whole Aleppo. When they asked, about that, when someone was asking Gary Johnson about, like, what would you do about Aleppo? And he's like, Aleppo? And they're like, yeah, do you know where Aleppo is? And he's like, no.
Oh, yeah, he was probably baked at the time, in his defense.
Yeah, well, maybe. But so Cole thought that was pretty funny. And then, but what was interesting, Cole made a point. He's in Oklahoma, and he says Oklahoma has been hardcore Democratic but went hardcore Republican since the Oklahoma City bombing and 9/11, which actually surprised. I never thought about that, but now that I look at the map, Oklahoma is obviously went Republican now. I need to look at the past few years, but let me go over here to Oklahoma. Dude, 65% to 29%.
Not a single county went blue.
Yeah, isn't that nuts? Yeah. So I mean, Cole's got some. That's interesting. I find that interesting that he says that, and it's kind of, I don't know. I just find that interesting.
It is interesting also how world events influence politics. People, I think, talk about their own political beliefs as if they're set in stone, like they're based off of some principles, but really they're just based off of your life experiences. And I think we see that in Germany right now, where Germany had become increasingly liberal, and then the migrant crisis started. All of a sudden they're getting a ton of refugees. There's a bunch of rape and violent crime. There's a lot of problems in Germany. All of a sudden the Conservative Party is, or I don't know what they call it. They probably have different words for it, but now they're leaning more conservative again. Yeah. And it's not because, those people were always conservative at heart and they're just now expressing it. It's because, when things are rosy and happy, they're like, yeah, let's go liberal. And then as soon as things start to go bad, they're like, oh, wait, we need to be conservative about this. So
yeah, you need to start cracking down on stuff. Well, and that's kind of funny as we look at gun control nowadays. It used to be like, bad things happen, go buy a gun. You need to go buy, people are doing bad stuff, buy a gun, protect yourself. Now it's like went back to the whole, we need to outlaw guns. But what's funny is nobody I don't know. That's not really true because, gun sales are still like increasing every day. Obama, ever since Obama's probably the number one gun salesman for the last 8 years. And, you know, but like mainstream media still demonizes the gun and demonizes people that want to own a gun legally, whether they believe that gun is, you know, like why would you want a semi-automatic rifle? Why do you need why do you need a magazine that holds more than 10 rounds? That's just ludicrous. Well, what do you need a car with 500 horses? Why do you need a truck that gets 12 miles to the gallon? You know,
and I
mean?
think the cool thing about that is that I think gun control has lost majority support, at least most types of gun control. I think a lot of people who don't know any better would still say, yeah, you shouldn't be able to have an assault weapon just because they don't know what an assault weapon is.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, I mean, gun control, the issue is swaying because more and more people are buying guns. And I like to think, my libertarian brain likes to think that people are trying to be more responsible for themselves, you know, to be more self-sufficient. And that's just a natural step is to own a firearm.
Well, and like the other thing too is it's like taking responsibility for your own welfare and well-being. So like, you know, you don't go out into the middle of bear country packing around a stick and tell, you know, bang a bear on the nose and tell him, no, bear, you're not allowed to do that. You can't do that, bear. That's not okay. You know, you take a freaking 44 mag out there, and if the bear like gets where he's like going to eat you, you shoot him. I mean, if you go out there and you get eaten by a bear and you weren't prepared for it, that's on you. You made that decision.
Yeah.
You know, the government's not going to fly a helicopter in and protect you. No matter how much, like a lot of these pro gun control, you know, officials in our government claim that like, you know, that's a police job to protect you. That's like, you know, let us protect you. That's why laws are put in place. No, laws are put in place for the law-abiding people.
Yeah, I make that argument to people a lot is, you know, just sort of like, well, what if, actually one of the arguments that I make is that, you know, maybe we should have less police because crime rates are going down all the time and maybe we should rely less on the police to protect ourselves and more on ourselves. And then inevitably someone will say, but what if somebody, you know, breaks into your house and tries to kill you? And it's like, well, you know, the police's job in that situation is to put the bodies in bags, right, and tape off your house. Like that's what they're going to do in that situation. They're not going to protect you because they're not going to be there until 20 minutes after you've already hit room temperature.
Exactly. And so like basically, and also it's like if you take the actual terminology like responder, first responder, to respond to your phone call. Respond is past tense.
Yeah.
So whatever happened, and they're responding to what happened to you. So
yeah,
like
the police don't guard your house.
Happening. Yeah.
They come by your house to see what happened because they heard gunshots and screaming. And they're like,
well, it's another
murder.
What happened?
No, it's just, that's just what the police will say after you are murdered.
I think it didn't change. I thought the map changed. So you made a really good point. What was really funny though is I was having a conversation with an individual and they were telling me that they believe that gun crime has gone up.
Yeah, see that's really strange.
And I was like,
people think that based on the media endlessly sensationalizing anything that people will click on.
Well, and that's the thing too. Is like, I mean, they were making points. They're like, well, you know, all these mass shootings have happened over the years, and it's like, yeah, but they're actually gun crime has dropped. It's just the fact that, you know, like media is jumping on it and blows it out of proportion. Like, so did you know that in California, I don't even know how to say this place, Azusa, California, there was a shooting at a voting poll place?
Yeah, I was trying to follow up on that, but I did not see any more details emerging. And the problem is with parts of California, it also could have just been that some gang member saw another gang member in the neighborhood where they didn't belong and took a couple shots at them.
Well, exactly. But why isn't that all over the news? That, I mean, ironically, it was at a place where people vote.
Yeah, well,
why wasn't that all over the news?
The only follow-up that I was able to find was initially it said it was at a polling place. And then it said, well, it's in the same neighborhood as a polling place. So that could have been their target. I'm like, well, it could have been, but more likely it was just some guy shooting out the window of his old beat-up Camaro at some other guy. I don't know. I mean, yeah, if it develops into anything, it'll be interesting to see what happened there. But it certainly sounds like just another day in California.
Let's see. So Cole, like, I find this Cole guy pretty interesting. He does contribute.
He's got knowledge.
Yeah. So he says Oklahoma made their gun laws more laxed, and they were even trying to make it okay for felons to own guns, which I think is kind of interesting because, I mean, like, if you pay your time and you can become because once you become a felon, in my opinion, you lose, like, your citizen rights because you, like, fucked up, couldn't follow the rules, and, like, you can't be part of society, a functioning part of society. But if you are a felon, well, yeah, but if you pay your dues and you go through the steps and, like, earn your citizenship back, I mean, can you? Like, so I have a friend that has a felony record, right? And he went through all the rigmarole of getting it corrected, and then this was several years ago. We're talking like 10 plus years ago. Went through this whole thing to get it fixed. Yes, I mean, when he was charged with this felony, he was guilty of it. He admitted guilt to it. Went through everything the court told him to do. Went through everything the state, whatever, blah blah blah, and then he appealed his felony and was able to get it, like, turned to something or whatever. So now he can buy a gun, and he totally can. Like,
you got it expunged, basically.
Yeah.
And I think I'm totally in favor of that. And the other thing that I always bring up, and people have an immediate gut reaction when you say, well, what about felons buying guns? They're like, well, now you're just out of your mind, right? But I would say that if you don't trust a person with a gun, why would you even trust them on the street? Why would you trust them with a car? Why would you trust them with a knife?
Yeah.
Why would you trust them to walk on the same streets as you and I? I mean, obviously that's kind of an extreme example, but I mean, if the person has been deemed worthy of release, we have to accept that that's what the system, that's what the system, like, if we're saying that they're okay to be released, that's it.
But not 100% release. I mean, you got to remember these felons do their time in incarceration and then they get let out, but then they have to go through, like, programs for several years.
Yeah, so I think
they're still being monitored.
Yeah, the current system where they could get their record expunged, I think that's good because that takes a lot of work. And, I'll admit I don't have a lot of sympathy for felons. Like, oh, it takes a lot of work to get your gun rights back. Well, I'm sorry, but you're a felon.
Yeah. Well, and then the other thing too is, like,
acceptable for you.
Well, it kind of reminds me of something like you were saying is, like, it's like when Jim Carrey in Liar Liar, when it's like, so-and-so got pulled over again, he's being arrested. And it's like, well, he wants to know what you should do. And he, like, yells into the phone, stop breaking the law, asshole.
Yeah,
and it's just like, but another thing that Cole was talking about, how we were talking about even trying to make it okay for felons to own guns. He said it didn't pass, but he says, don't get caught with weed though. He said, holy shit, they give you 1,000 years. And it's like coming from a new state that allows marijuana. Like, you live in
okay. All right. I got to tell you what, man, in Salem, there are probably about 20 weed shops. And I love driving around Salem and looking at the way they advertise. Like, some of them are all like natural remedies,
Yeah.
green solutions. And then some of them, like one of them, seriously, it's pretty close to where I live. It has a giant green, wacky waving, inflatable arm flailing tube man out front when the weather is good.
Yeah.
That says marijuana down his chest.
Yeah.
And he's right there on the main street just flailing his arms and everything. It's like,
dude, I mean, like, I think
welcome
it's
to Oregon.
like we have a franchise in Oregon now called Oregrown, and they do organic.
Actually, we should trademark that.
Yeah.
Oregon
Organic.
organic.
Organic. So
Organic.
goddamn, now I can't remember what I the company. So
A franchise
Oregrown.
called Ora whatever the hell.
Yeah, Oregrown is a franchise in Oregon, and they have organic, medicinal marijuana, and it's just funny to drive by there. They're like, so I deliver equipment to all kinds of businesses, and sometimes I have to deliver and do networking for, head shops. And it's really funny to go into some of them, and you're like, holy crap, this is nicer than my doctor's office. I was like, they're like, would you like a cucumber and lemon water while you wait? And you're like, why, yes, I would.
Wow, all right. Now, like, would you like a brownie? And you say, no, thanks, I'm working.
Yeah, no, yeah, exactly. Like, take one of these with you. No.
Well, so also on the subject of weed, that's why maybe that would be my third platform as governor, just to decriminalize all the drugs, because it's not my business what somebody else wants to do to themselves. So if you do stop penalizing people for simple, minor stuff like drug possession or drug manufacturing, then you do clear out a lot of space in prisons, and then maybe you can actually hold those really dangerous, violent felons accountable and keep them in prison. You won't have to release them because you don't have any room. So then the problem of felons owning guns becomes even less major. Well, it's interesting the way that all those systems interplay.
Yeah, I'm pretty, like, there's things like, see, like heroin, like any of those like crazy wild drugs, man-made, like people are like over ODing on stuff. I'm still very big against like making those illegal. Like I can't stand it. But I mean, that makes me a hypocrite in other ways, because like, I'm gonna tell you right now, I don't have anything to do with weed. I am not a weed person. Like, maybe when I was a kid, I like hung out with it and like enjoyed it, but like, I mean, I haven't done anything with weed for like 20 odd years. And it doesn't really bother me that it's legal now. I mean, people have been pretty cool about it. It's just, there are some things that do upset me. There's evidence. I gotta be careful how I say things because of stuff I know, but like, we'll put it this way, like, kids come to school and their clothes reek of pot. They smell like their parents were toking it up in the car, which is illegal, by the way, but people do it anyways, because now, just like, dude, how many people do you know that go and buy a tall boy on their way home from work and probably crack that sucker open and drink it while they drive home? Is that okay? No, not in my opinion. I don't think that's okay at all. But people do it. I guarantee it.
Yeah, and I think that should definitely be followed up on. I mean, like, if a kid reeks of booze, maybe the school counselor's going to want to talk to the parents and maybe get social services involved. I think that marijuana should be treated much the same. Like, I have no problem with people wanting to do marijuana or drink. I don't really drink that much, and I don't do any sort of drugs, but it can still, something that's legal and okay for you to use could still affect your kids. So I think that if you just treat it like you do alcohol, if a parent obviously has a problem and it's affecting their ability to raise their kid, then the solution isn't to make weed illegal. It's just to say, all right, you just your kids are going into a government program now because you were too dangerous.
So, back to the map. New Hampshire just turned blue.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. Well, dude, New Hampshire.
4 votes. Whatever.
Yeah, it's.
Suck a dick, New Hampshire.
Suck it. Dude, PA and Michigan. That's all we need. Like, Hillary, you suck. Go away. No one likes you.
Oh, man.
Cucumber water kicks ass. With lemon, Cole.
Okay, all right, Cole. I gotta ask you a question here, Cole. Have you seen? I think it's called. It's a Gatorade. It's like lightish tealish green, and it's called like limon pipone or something like that. It's like pepper, lemon, cucumber Gatorade, and it looked kind of cool. And I was like, I'm gonna try that. And I got about 2 sips in before I was like, what in the actual shit am I drinking? This tastes salty, kind of, and fruity, kind of, and kind of like cucumber, but there's also like a pepper bite to it. It's just like, it made me angry that they had suckered me in with like this, refreshing veneer of, oh, it's cucumber, it's lemon. And then, no, it just tasted like salt and pepper in a Gatorade. Ah, geez, it was terrible. Anyways, cucumber water probably does kick ass, but cucumber, lemon, pepper, Gatorade is undrinkable.
Please make it stop. Please.
That's so, my fourth thing. So when I'm governor, all right, it's gonna be Sudafed, yes. Leaf blowers, no. Decriminalize drugs, yes. Lemon, pepper, cucumber, Gatorade, no. As long as we're keeping track here.
So, off subject. I just noticed. So when Hawaii came on, it shows no tallied votes, but it says that it won the Democratic Party. No votes at all. Like, it doesn't give any numbers. How the fuck does that work out?
They've got better things to do than vote in Hawaii.
Well, come on, man. You got to be. Just because you're on. No man is an island. No person is an island. Okay.
They probably have a different voting system that I don't know of.
It's called "Leave Us Alone."
Well, let's talk about Oregon for a second. Or Measure 97, which was the de facto sales tax. basically a
Yeah.
backdoor sales tax. That got defeated. I was glad about that.
Yeah, don't get me started. My wife, or will-be wife, she's very pro 97. She's very irritated
Gotcha.
because I'm not 97 pro.
Well, it's interesting. I mean, I work for a school district, and I have family members in a school district. And when the subject came up, everybody was like, "How could you possibly vote against 97? You work for a
That's
school
funny.
district." And I was like, "That's not a good reason to support a law. You know, I'm not going to vote for something that gives me money. That's not the right thing to do." First of all, and second of all, when you read into it, it doesn't look like there's really any accountability. So what it means is a whole bunch of additional tax revenue will be generated, and some of it might go to schools.
Yeah, you just have to
Right,
you have to
good.
trust the officials, because well, and the other thing too is, like, one thing a lot of people forget about is that tax it's not officially constitutionally amended, so it's not an actual law that is put in place. It's just they're just promising that they'll do said things supposedly, but then they can change their mind. They're gonna be like, well, it's not gonna go for the schools, it's gonna go for the roads.
And also being a public employee working for the schools, I sort of have an inside view into how they're using the money they have right now, and it's not always smart. So giving them more money to waste is not really a great idea, if in my opinion.
Well, and that's the thing is, it's kind of refreshing to hear you talk about it as you being a employee of a school district and seeing that, because, like, I know a fair amount of teachers, and they are very pro that. They think it's great. And it's like, but, it is what it is. It's just hopefully that maybe, like, elected officials for the next year or so will maybe, like, try a different approach at handling school budgets. Because, like, one thing I will agree, Oregon's education system is very subpar, from what I know, and, like, how I learned from what Sarah deals with and things like that. And I definitely think we could do better at educating our children and getting them the tools and the education that they need in order to hopefully vote Oregon back into a Republican red state.
Yeah, I could talk your ear off about education in the school system for a whole other podcast or vidcast or whatever, but we should save that, I guess.
Let's see. So Cole says when he was deployed, there was an energy drink called Red Tiger. This Sex Panther. 60% of the time, it works every time.
Jesus.
He goes, that shit. That was the shit. A 6-pack of that, and you're wired for sound. So Cole, what'd you serve in? Were you in what division of military? I'm not a military expert, so don't judge how I ask this question, but I'm just curious. I'm like eyeballing this map. I'm like, God damn, it's like slowed down. Like, what's going on? I was really hoping New Hampshire would stay red just because it's so tiny. It'd just be funny to have that one little red dot in that panhandle. A little cancer spot amongst all the Democrats.
Weird.
Dude, New Hampshire's close though, because it's like it's basically there. It says 47% to 47%, so it's 283,000.
It's off by, okay. So the difference is 96 votes right now.
Like 100. Yeah.
Okay, so that's
exactly.
So forget it. Let's not call.
I don't know. It'd be kind of funny though if it pulled over back to red. But I'm looking at the little map. And, it's kind of half and half.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? That's funny.
Yep. That's
so dumb, though. Like, if you look at the New Hampshire map, it says Hillary Clinton 48% and Donald Trump 47%. Is like, it is kind of screwy. Did you vanish or did you go somewhere?
Oh, no, I shut off my mic off for a second so I could cough loudly.
Gotcha. Quit smoking that Chiba.
Yep. Stupid Oregon. Yeah. Legalizing all these drugs, and then I have to do all these drugs.
Yeah.
I don't even want to do them.
Force them, I can't stand it. It's so hard. I can't keep up with them all. I get so tired.
Just new drugs coming out every week. Well, all right. What's your election carry piece right now?
Oh no, I'm still the XDS 45. I swear by that little sucker. And plus I'm poor and I'm not gonna buy another. Um, I did. We did pick up a Ruger SP 101 357 for
Oh,
my
nice.
dad. Stainless, obviously. We got that for my dad for when he's riding his horse, and he's got his concealed carry permit, which I think is pretty cool. He's had it for a couple of years now. So he's got that. He didn't really care for the. We had a shield, and you know about the shield.
The
He didn't like the shield. Because it was hard for him to cycle it. You know, it's so small, and I wanted something that my dad can just pull and do whatever he needs to do. And so, but I'll tell you right now, man, even shooting 38 special through that 357 with a 4.5-inch barrel, I can't hit the broadside of a barn. Like I'm shooting it as bad as I shot the 40.
Wow.
I don't understand. I've only shot it like 4 times.
Yeah.
But still, but my dad can shoot it okay, and I'm just glad he has it because he goes out riding into like the dry canyon area.
Oh, danger zone.
You know, well, yeah, and there are freaking meth heads out there, and cats, and you never know it could be a dog that could be like hassling my dad's horse. You don't
have to get chucked off of your horse in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm not saying shoot a dog or anything, but you never know. Like it's just good it's better to have it and never ever need it.
Yeah.
But now you're wondering why you don't got it.
Yep. Well, I'm pretty new to the whole gun thing, so I've been working out a concealed carry system, and it's stupid hard. I don't enjoy it at all.
Well, it's when it comes to concealed carry, I honestly believe it's a lifestyle. It's a choice you have to make. It's like, you got your keys, your wallet, your phone, your pocket knife. Everybody has their own routine, and you just got to incorporate your concealed carry into your routine. And you have to get comfortable with, having it on you at all times. And you have to have your methods for obviously you work in a school district. So
I can't even carry most of the time, which is part of the reason why it's getting hard to adjust to it. But
yeah.
I don't know. I had that Taurus 85 that I shot when we were out Camp Sherman area.
Yeah, I got a kick out of that gun.
Carrying that IWB or in a paddle holster works pretty well for me, but I was thinking I really want something even more discreet, even more out of the way. And so, when they released the Ruger LCP2,
yep,
the price on the Ruger LCP original went down to just absurd low.
Isn't it less than $300? It's like $280 or something.
Less than that. I got one for $185, brand new.
Oh God, that's great.
I was like, all right, I wasn't planning to buy a gun right now, but at that price, it's like, holy crap, even the Taurus TCP, which is the only other, I think, 380 micro pistol in that same size bracket, is $220. And that's ridiculous. The LCP falling below that is just amazing. So I've tried carrying that pocket carry, and it just seems, even something that tiny, I just feel like people are going to look at me and be like, why do you have a pistol in your pocket?
Honestly,
no, that's just one of my other phones.
Yeah. Well, the other thing too is how often do people really? I don't know. I being a guy that carries on a regular basis, and I consider myself fairly alert. It's hard for me to catch people printing, especially when the only thing is I'm not a big pocket carry person. I don't like having guns in my pocket. Mm-hmm. I like them to be in a holster on my waist. I'm always an IWB in the waistband. That's just the way I've always carried, and I prefer it that way. And I always try to carry the same way every time. So as you get into your repetition, especially when you're shooting and training, and just it's always in the same spot at all times. So you never, you never find yourself going, fuck, well, wrong pocket, or Cole answered my question because I was asking him what part of the military he was in. He said he's a Navy
Corpsman
and
medic.
Corpsman, yeah. And so and my stepdad was in the Navy, and he had some pretty funny stories about being in the Navy. So I appreciate your service, Cole. And like I've said a billion times, I appreciate you being part of our conversation. He says he loved the Navy, but the uniforms are kind of lame. I was happy to get camo BDUs because he ended up. I don't know how things work. So, but he goes, he was a Navy corpsman with the 1st Battalion, 1st Division Marine Corps BLT. So, it's so he did get to wear camo BDUs for some reason. And like not to sound ignorant,
the Navy was always complaining about the old. It was the only thing I can think to reference it is the Battleship movie, and all the Navy people were wearing that working uniform, which was the blue digital camo, the blue version of AccuPat.
I'm gonna tell you right now, I think Battleship was a freaking awesome movie. By the way, I don't care if you disagree with me. Get off my chat.
I'm just not going to say anything.
That's fine.
Well, anyway, so he was always complaining about those blueberry uniforms, and then he was pretty excited when they got the new one. It's kind of interesting because I eat lunch at a place a lot, and there's always like these Army guys coming in from the National Guard base, and some of them have been issued the new Scorpion W2 pattern, which is basically multicam.
I'm gonna look that up real quick.
Yep, and those guys come in looking like $1 million, like, oh yeah, we got the cool camo, we're just the best. And then
that is cool.
Yeah, it's like, I think it looks actually even better than multicam. But then a couple of these guys come in and they still for some reason have the old the old Digicam, the AccuPat, whatever else you call it, the UCP, Universal Camouflage Pattern.
Yeah.
The old terrible digital camo, and they just look sad, like we're not we're not important enough to get the awesome new camo, so we're wearing the camo that, in terms of just the camo nerd community, I think AccuPat has been totally discredited. People say it is not a camouflage at all. It just looks like a big gray shirt from any distance.
Interesting.
So
I would not
finally went for something better.
Oh man. I swear to God, they're dragging this out because nobody wants Trump to win. So they're just like, we're going to try everything in our power to they're probably like going over and trying to find do you speak English? You don't? Here, you fill this paper out anyways.
I just checked out OregonLive.com. It's the Oregonians website. It says Donald Trump is on the verge of becoming president.
Whoa, that's actually
Whoa.
What do you see?
Oh, never mind. The governor race was closer than it was last time, but I guess it's just the final numbers.
Damn it.
Oh well. I was impressed by Bud Pierce, but he's never going to win.
God, I don't know, man. I'm really upset that Brown ended up being our governor.
She
really doesn't.
I think people don't actually care enough, so they're like, oh, she's the Democrat. Yeah, I'll vote for her. Like, do I know who she is? Do I know what she stands for? No, but she's a Democrat, and I'm a Democrat. It's Oregon. I'm voting for her.
Yeah. You know what's funny though is I was reading. I can't remember. It was on Facebook. I think it was Independent Journal. They were talking about how there's actually a lot of Democratic registered Democrats voting Republican this year. Like more than average, more than normal, because of how Hillary is not as liked as people, like mainstream media likes to say. It's pretty interesting, like what's going on. I have a friend that is Democrat. He's very pro Bernie, and obviously when Bernie couldn't pull it, he ended up switching. He was like, I guess I'm gonna vote for Trump. And I was like, oh my God, who are you and what have you done with my friend?
Yeah.
It was pretty amazing.
I am still registered Democrat technically, and it's just because every time I would like to be registered independent, but every time I look into switching it, I'm like, oh, I have to mail something. I hate mailing stuff. What is this, 1905? Whatever.
Good. Dude, when are you gonna come back over here? You gotta come over here so we go shoot.
I know. I keep planning it. I finished my AR build. Sighted it in at about 100 yards with just some cheap stuff, and I'm like just raring to go because I finally got it to a place where I think it's just awesome and I love it. We really have to do some kind of long range accuracy shoots with ARs.
Well, I got a place out here we can go 800 yards if you want.
Well, I don't think I could shoot that far, but
well,
yeah, that'd be cool.
Try.
Shooting. What else? I had some other idea. I had some idea for some video. I was going to pitch it to you, and then I don't know. I forgot it. I'll probably have it written down somewhere though.
Let's see. Cole said that his old
shooting jaunt.
He said the old uniform was light blue shirt and dark blue pants, like a prison uniform.
Like Elvis Presley in whatever movie Elvis Presley was in. Oh, that's the stripy thing. I'm thinking of like the horizontal stripes. Nobody has ever looked good in horizontal stripes.
Yes. Let's see, what is it? Oh, I don't even want to look at USA Today's poll tracker, but okay. So, oh wait, let's see here. November 7th at 9 p.m. Dude, USA Today, what a fucking load of bullshit. So right now, national polling averages updated November 7th at 9 p.m. That was yesterday. 45.5 is Clinton and 42.2 is Trump. You think that's fucking makes sense?
I don't know. I feel like there was any polling had a lot of bias. Either it was people saying we hate Hillary so bad that we're just going to fudge the numbers and make it look like Trump's awesome, or it was people saying, sure, the numbers look like a Trump victory is plausible, but that just doesn't make sense because I don't like Trump. So
yeah.
I feel like this election was such a clusterfuck that nobody could be accurate.
It is a little bit of a joke for sure.
Yeah, predictions, statistics, all that stuff is based on, all those predictive models are based off of what came before, and this is nothing like what came before, so none of those.
Well, and the thing that irritates me is you compare like past elections to this election. Every election should be different because they're two different people.
Yeah.
Like completely different people. Now, if it was like the same president going against the, like a different candidate, I mean, I don't know how it just doesn't make sense to me how the logic isn't there to me, but obviously I'm not the most logical person.
Yeah, well, I don't think voters are super logical, and that's just me being a libertarian asshole again. But I still think it's kind of funny that nobody really knows what the platform of either candidate is because the election hasn't been about platforms at all. So I couldn't even tell you what Donald Trump is for or what Hillary Clinton is for. I just know that they hate each other and they're willing to say whatever they want about each other to. I'm
gonna tell you what Donald Trump's about. 3 words: drain the swamp.
I thought you were going to say 3 words: make America.
Yeah, 3 words: make America great.
Build a wall.
Build a wall. Beautiful, big, beautiful wall.
What about great wall swamp?
Great.
Just keywords.
Yeah.
I want you to remember those in the voting booth. Great wall and swamp.
Swamp. There you go. You know what's funny though is like the other day I caught one of Trump's speech about the wall, and he brought it back up, and he's like, a lot of people know I've been talking about this wall, and he's like, I just want people to realize just because it's going to be this big, beautiful, huge wall, it's going to have big, beautiful, huge doors. He didn't say it that way, but he started talking about the doors and how thousands of people will come into this country to live the American dream legally and safely and blah, 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 blah. And I was like, why couldn't you say that when you start talking about the wall in the first place? Like, why couldn't you talk about this wall that everybody hates anyways? And in my opinion, I believe it's a proverbial wall. Like, in reality, like, if he becomes the president, I guarantee he's not building a fucking wall. But in order to make the voters happy that voted him because they want more immigration reform and make it better to what we think is better, he's going to, like, dump money into the proverbial wall to make our borders more secure, safer for those who do come into our country legally, because, like, I am all for people coming here. I'm all for it. But I'm tired of, like, people coming to the country illegally and, like, breaking our laws and getting away with it where, like, I can't even go to the freaking DMV here in Oregon and get my driver's license without giving them my left nut, my blood bag. I got to prove, like, who my parents are, what my DNA is, and blah, 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 blah. And, like, I have to have, like, 17 pieces of mail to renew my driver's license that already exists, for one, with my picture of me on it. And people can walk right in that don't even speak English and ask for, like, a worker's license, and they just get it. They don't even have to have a green card.
Yeah, I
That's
think
not
it's kind
okay.
of funny. The reaction to Donald Trump has been like, he's a racist, terrible person. You know, no president should ever be against illegal immigration. And it's like, hey, you know, the word illegal is right in there. You know, it's illegal immigration. So, like, if the president's job is to uphold the law, then being for illegal immigration is tantamount to treason. So, you know, it makes sense for the president to be against illegal immigration. And
So
you know, yeah, and I think you may be onto something there that, you know, money into border security, more aggressive deportation, and maybe more
yeah,
money on processing people through the legal system.
exactly.
That's the wall that he's talking about. Not, you know, not a
And
big fence.
definitely enforcing the laws that are already in place. Because I mean, like our immigration is, I mean, it could be better, but it's not terrible. I mean, we just need to enforce, just like with gun control, enforce the laws that are already there. Like pay the money that needs to be done in order for the background checks to work the way they're supposed to. Don't freaking come up with placebo bullshit laws that don't apply to anything and just complicate shit. But I just noticed Alaska, which is 3 electoral votes, hasn't gone up to Trump yet because it's not finalized. But right now, it's 53% Trump to 38% Hillary, and you're looking at like 34,315 votes for Hillary and 47,844 for Trump.
Yeah, Alaska seems pretty solid.
Yep. Arizona's still close, man. Arizona hasn't closed. You're looking at 777,002 votes versus 841,303.
That's a pretty good percentage lead. If he's got 3 percentage points, that's, you know, I mean,
Yeah.
the actual number of votes isn't that big, but Arizona's not that big of a
It's
state.
like it's more. I guess it's just not as highly populated because it's like the same size as Oregon.
Yeah. I have some friends from England, and I remember, you know, there was the big nuclear disaster in Japan, the big explosion, and then there was some news story about how a piece of the dock Japanese dock washed up on the Oregon coast. And a friend of mine from England, you know, messaged me on Facebook, said, "Hey, you're in Oregon, you should go check it out." And I was like, "Yeah, it's on the coast. I can't really get there. You know, they're going to move it before I have a chance to get there." And he's like, "Can't you just hop a bus?" And I was like, you know, my state is the size of your country.
Yeah.
Right. Like, I guess I could hop a bus, but it'd probably take like 6 hours to ride to the coast on a bus.
And it's probably like $180 ticket.
Yeah.
That's pretty funny. How about, can't you take a train? The only train we have going through my town is a freight train that literally hauls freight.
Yeah, we got one train going up and down and one train going left and right. We don't have a bunch of trains like you do.
We don't have the tram.
Yep.
So let's see.
And is this night ever going to end, or are we just doing this forever? Is this purgatory?
Oh, I definitely think so. I mean, we could probably get off. I mean, it's just.
I don't want to see it through now.
Yeah, me too. I'm like,
I want to go to bed knowing I don't want to wake up tomorrow to have terrible news.
To a huge disappointment. Well, I guess it's a huge disappointment both ways, but like, I just want to deal with the lesser disappointment.
Yeah.
The disappointment that.
The end of Resident Evil, right? You wake up tomorrow morning, you go outside, and like there's just nobody, and everything's on fire, and you're like, oh crap.
Wait, where's my AR?
Yeah.
Come on, Arizona. Close it up, Arizona. That's 11. I really want to see Pennsylvania. Dude, I bet you money their recount. PA is probably recounting. They can't accept it. They can't accept that the votes are that close. They're like, no. Recount it.
Yeah, it's kind of like the early votes. They're like, oh, it's 120,000 for Trump, 80,000 for Hillary, 70,000 more for Trump, and then now it's like, all right, here's 6 more for Trump. Okay, there's 1 more for Hillary.
Yeah.
Like, all right, everybody sweep the floor, see if you missed any ballots.
Yeah. Dude, Wisconsin is 49 to 46. Trump's 49%. That's pretty, but that's a bit. There's actually quite a lead between Trump and Hillary. Let's see. I want to see popular vote. Let's see. Trump is ahead of Hillary by popular vote by roughly 800,000 votes of give or take. No, way more than that. Like 200, almost like 2,800,000. I suck at math.
Yeah, I don't even think 2,800,000 is a real number.
I don't even know how. I don't know. I can't do the math.
You know,
I
let
suck.
me interpret
You look
what you
at it.
just said into English.
Read it, smart man.
I can't find out where you got that number from anyway.
Oh, so I'm on Google, and
Yeah,
so like there's,
I'm
and then
trying
you
to
click.
be on Google.
Then there's electoral vote, and then popular vote to the right, and you just click on.
Oh,
popular.
there we go. Okay, yep, I see.
Got it.
Oh yeah,
I'm gonna-
2 million. Not quite
Wow.
2 million. 1.9. Wait, you know what? I'm not good at math either. I'll just agree that math is not what this stream is about.
No. Good thing there's not many people listening to make fun of me, because I get that on a daily basis.
You get more than enough of that.
Dude, I get so much trolling. Let's see. I'm just like, I screwed myself up. There we go. I'm gonna run to I'm gonna go get something to drink. I'll be right back.
All right, I'll entertain the troops or the troop.
Dude, if you find like some interesting topic, just talk about it, because this will be recording, like, or it'll just play. Like, people can click on it and listen to it later.
Yep. Well, we got more weighing in from Cole. Talking about how the Marines use Navy medics. That's something I've always kind of wondered. The Marines seems like it's really a lot more in bed with the Navy than maybe they want to admit. I don't know. It's obviously a complete outsider perspective for me, but really, I mean, should the Marines really complain if you call them Navy soldiers? Maybe yes, maybe no. Everything I know about the Marines, I learned from watching Generation Kill. And that show, in retrospect, was a little more of a comedy than a historical drama. I'm not sure exactly how that worked out, but the book was very funny. The show was very funny. So, I don't know. It's hard to have a one-sided conversation. Hopefully Cole will generate some more nuggets of wisdom for us. I'll just sit here and play with my AR. Yep. That's what I got. Still no traction on the electoral map. Basically just waiting for Michigan, Pennsylvania, and Arizona to decide one way or the other. Ah, yeah, see, Cole says the Marines are a subsidiary of the Navy and that they hate it. Totally makes sense. There's like 100 million different crisscrossing special forces attached vaguely to some branch or another. So there's MARSOC, Special Operations Command. That's Marines, and therefore by extension is Navy. Rangers. I don't know if Rangers are considered special forces. I think they want to be considered special forces, but honestly, I would just say Rangers are like Marines. That's probably extremely rude or blasphemous, but I don't know. We're dealing with generalities here.
Okay, I'm back.
Marines are a goofy bunch. Yeah.
Dude, have I, like, Aiden, I've told you about my best friend Caleb, right? That passed away. You know, I've told you about him.
Maybe tangentially.
Yeah, he was a Marine. He was probably one of the so he goes overseas to I don't know, some sandbox somewhere. And this is back in 2001. So he goes over, it's like one of his first deployments. He goes over there, and then he's gone for a couple years, on and off, and he was stationed over on the East Coast somewhere, so when he come home, that's where he went. But then he finally comes back to Oregon, calls me up, says, come and visit me, dude. And I'm like, oh, sweet, come see my best friend Caleb. I'm so excited that you're back in town. And so I show up, I open the door, and this bastard, who's like, he's probably 5'11", maybe 6 foot, and he's like a couple hundred, like he's probably 220. He's a big guy. He's wearing a red Speedo, his combat boots, and he's eating a box of like Lucky Charms with a long wooden spoon. And he's like, "What's up?" That's what he greets me in. Dude, he was so if Cole was talking about Marines are a goofy bunch, from a regular person, I agree, just from my own experiences with my friend.
Well, I guess if you're deployed for a while, you probably miss certain luxuries of American life, like Speedos and Lucky Charms.
Red Speedos.
Red Speedos, right? Well, yeah. I mean, you can't get those garish colors in other countries because they're not as free as we are.
Oh, it's very, we have a lot. So they're saying that Michigan. Sarah was looking at her. She has an app and it talks about like percentage. She says Michigan's like 90% reported, and if you go to the little map, it shows one little teeny block, not like whatever those are, a county. Those must be counties. One little block. It's just like, dude, I guarantee they're like, no, count it again. No way, he can't win. We can't be wrong.
Oh, looks like Cole's taken off. Thanks for joining us, Cole. You had the most valuable insights, more valuable than probably mine, definitely than Trevor's.
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree. Yeah, we'll catch you later, man. Stay in touch. I don't know why you yell on the microphone like they're in the next room. I still haven't figured that out.
That's I just imagine that he's walking away from his computer, but it's still on. Like he's just gonna go to sleep, but he's gonna leave his computer on, and so you're trying to catch him like as he's leaving the room. Yell extra loud.
Cole, are you asleep, Cole?
If you yell loud enough, he'll hear it in the next room. He'll come running. So if we get an election result, you can yell it.
Yeah, we're gonna be like, we'll start yelling at him. Cole, get in here!
God damn it, Cole, wake up! You're missing it.
That's funny. Yeah, oh, there we go. I finally found High Desert Pioneers chat. He's got his chat finally going. Interesting.
Oh man, see, okay, here's the problem with coming over to the high desert. I'm not super great at driving in the snow. I have all-wheel drive. I have to get new tires for my car, so I'm going to get some that are decently capable, but I don't know. It's approaching winter time, and I think the pass is going to be kind of snowy for a while.
Oh, something reported. Because we're at 215 versus 264.
260. Oh, Trump got a bunch of Pennsylvania.
Yes!
Oh, Cole, God damn it, wake up.
Oh my God.
Okay, Cole, lift yet. Cole, hey, this is great. Good thing Cole's still here.
Yeah, Cole, get back in here.
Oh, when he said peace, he was correcting his spelling of peace with an S. And he talked about wartime and peas. He meant peace. So he actually wasn't leaving. So we were premature. Sorry, Cole.
That's what I get for listening to you. I should have actually read the chat instead of trusted what you were saying.
Yeah, I know. Well, I mean, I did tell you that his ideas are all better than mine. So you should have known.
Yeah, that's true.
You should have.
I don't know, man. I do trust your input, though. I mean, for crying out loud, like there's very few YouTubers I hang out with, and I'll tell you right now, you are one. High Desert Pioneer is one. Beast is one. And that's about it. I've met Yankee Marshall. He hates me, but I like to bother him when he can't get rid of me because like he goes to the same functions that I go to. So like when I went to SHOT Show, he literally looked like somebody pissed in his Cheerios when I showed up. I was like, "Hey, what's up, Yankee?" And he's like, "Oh, it's the tactical midget." And I was like, "Yeah, good to see you too."
I just can't see him liking anybody, but I think that's part of what makes his little channel charming.
He's so charming. Yeah, dude. Actually, do you know who Cameron is? He's got a channel called Twang and Bang. You've ever heard of that channel? So weird.
Yeah, I like that show. Have you seen? Actually, it's kind of weird. All right, my two favorite channels on YouTube right now. One of them is called Deuce and Guns.
Yeah,
a guy named BC does BC's Deuce and Guns. I just really like his approach. Is really excellent. And the other one, totally random, is a guy called Steve 1989 who buys historical MREs on the internet, then opens them up and tries to eat all the contents.
Oh yeah, like yeah, I've seen a couple of his videos. He literally eats stuff from like 1890.
Yeah. So he'll like open up like a World War II ration, and he'll try everything unless it looks, lethally poisonous, and then he'll talk all about it. And I don't know, it's amazing just the way like you could sort of unspool after work by watching him open up like a Vietnam combat ration and talk about the,
Well, and he kind of goes over the history of them too.
Yeah, exactly. Like my favorite thing is he was talking about the Hershey's trying to come up with a chocolate bar that wouldn't melt.
Yeah.
In the heat. So they came up with like tropical Hershey's or something like that, or island Hershey's or whatever. And apparently they were just disgusting.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's great. And then he was like, and these go for a lot of money. I'm like, that's amazing that only in the collectible world could a disgusting candy bar that everybody hated fetch a lot of money on eBay.
Yeah, exactly. Let's see.
But yeah, I don't know. For some reason, I love that channel. I love watching him unpack MREs and smoke 50-year-old cigarettes and talk about how much better old tobacco is than new tobacco.
So Cole says that he's been watching YouTube for years, and he says hasn't really got the balls to make his own vids. Well, I'm gonna tell you right now, Cole. The great thing about YouTube is that's like where, I mean, like, I'll just like, it sums it up to the fact of like, if you don't know how to do something, you YouTube it. So like, if you got something to offer, you should totally do it. Andy likes Steve 1989.
Yes,
totally
hardtack. I think
Yep.
he tried it in coffee. He tried doing all sorts of things to try to make it edible, and I don't know if he succeeded, but that was a good video.
But
funny. Yeah, I mean, as for YouTube, I know like when I first started on YouTube, it seems like it's been a long time ago, but my approach was like, well, I don't want to have to look back in the future at my first vids and be ashamed of how garbage they are. So I have to do it perfect. And it was not like a month and a half later that I was looking back on my first videos like, oh geez, what was I thinking?
Dude, I don't even watch I don't watch my first videos because I don't want to deal with the remorse and regret that I have, but I can't bring myself to delete them.
Yeah, it's like, I don't want to delete them because it's annoying when you go to channels and you're like, hey, I know I used to watch this person like in 2008, like old school YouTube, but their videos end in like 2011, and you kind of think, well, did they just decide like they're going to delete their old content because it's not good enough to represent them anymore? Because I do sometimes worry about that. Some of my old videos will have resurgences in popularity where a bunch of people are all of a sudden watching like an old video that I didn't even think was very good. And they're all bitching like, what is this garbage? And I'm like, no, really, it used to be garbage. It's not garbage anymore. Try some of the newer stuff. I think you might like it, but it's too late. They're already like, you're a useless. I guess I shouldn't repeat some of the things that people say about me on the internet because they don't need to be repeated.
Dude, people call me all kinds of bad things. I got made fun of for making a review about a gun because I don't know anything about guns. Like the guy just ripped me a new one about my shield video. That's like probably one of my most hated videos ever. Which is really funny though because the likes and dislikes are literally like there's like maybe 100 more likes than there are dislikes. We're talking thousands of likes and dislikes, and so people act like it's like like. Pretty much 50-50 people believe it sucks and people think it great. I mean,
I always find it interesting because that's, I think, the ratio you should expect on videos, that 50-50 people will like them or dislike them. But really the way YouTube works, people will only look for the stuff they want to watch. So if they dislike something, it's because they're really pissed off.
Yep. Well, and the other thing too is it's just, I would rather get a thumbs down than nothing. I mean, I want a hate comment. I want a thumbs down. I want like 10 more comments because they decided they weren't done because dude, you're just helping the analytics. I don't care. I would rather have you hate my ass than not say anything at all. Like some of the videos I can't stand that I have are the ones that have tons of views and maybe we're talking like 50,000 views and like 50 comments and like maybe 27 likes. I mean, like, come on, man. And that's the one thing where I make my mistakes on my videos is I'm not very good at drumming up conversation, like getting rapport between people. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, it's like my videos are very direct. They say what I need to say, and that's it. I don't leave anything open. So like the only people that really leave comments are the ones that want to argue with me. People that like the video, they're like, oh, I got my info and I'm gone.
Yeah, I've noticed that as well. That part of it is that I don't really invite discussion as much as maybe I should. But yeah, I noticed that like any of my videos that are pretty popular, that people like, almost invariably either they'll just quote something funny I said in the video, which is like, okay, thanks. I mean, I wrote the video, I performed the video, I spent 26 hours editing the video. I know what I said in the video. Thank you for telling me that that thing I said was funny.
Yeah.
I was there. I said it.
Yeah,
But
you're like, there's a reason why it's in the video.
Wasteful. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I thought that was funny too. That's why it's in there.
Yeah. Well,
But,
yeah,
yeah, so, I mean,
but see, the
that
thing,
stuff.
I'm a
But
little
then-
bit
yeah, go for
different.
it.
I appreciate that. I like it when people, like, sometimes it's pretty funny. Like every now and then, like I'll meet somebody that's maybe seen my videos and they'll quote me to me.
Right to your face.
And I'll just be
That's
like, I'm like, that's pretty funny that you like, I'm laughing at myself. I'm like, oh my God, whoever came up with that was a fucking genius. And they're like, that's from your video. And I'm like, oh, awesome.
I find it funny. I watch my old videos and I'm like, damn, like I wrote that. I used to be funny. You know, some of my good stuff, once it sort of percolates for a while, I start to appreciate again.
Well,
But
that's
yeah,
the
I
thing
mean,
too, is like,
go for it.
oh, I just I'm the same way. Like I go through and like, cause I go and rewatch my videos. Cause like sometimes I go through because I want to see if I can follow up. Every now and then I'll be able to come up with a movie or video and follow up an old video.
Mm-hmm.
And cause like sometimes people ask comments or they'll ask questions and then like, oh, I'll just make a video about it. And like I made that how to remove white noise with your microphone video. And like, I didn't realize that thing's like at a ton of views and it's not even a couple months old. Like,
Yeah. Well,
I
everybody
was really
white noise
surprised that.
goes.
Go ahead.
Yeah, well, I think the video, the comments that I get, it's either like, thanks for the vid, or it's, here's a funny thing I liked from the vid. But it's almost never a positive discussion. Usually when it's any sort of discussion, it's somebody was furious and they make, a point-by-point rebuttal to every single point that I made inside of a 40-minute video, which is, that's entertaining. I like arguing, so I'm into that. Or it's just a whole lot of, like, kill yourself, you hipster faggot. And then I'm like, all right, thanks for commenting. Thanks for driving up my analytics.
Funny.
So
Yeah,
I get a lot of that. And one of my older videos was like a really, I thought, pretty, moderate. Like I wasn't really angry. I wasn't really controversial. I was just outlining a couple reasons why I wasn't a huge fan of Skyrim. I thought that game was okay, but not great. And that's, that was 5 years ago. And that's like one of my most viewed videos. And it's
I'm
got like 90% thumbs down. People fucking hate me for that.
Yeah, let's see. I wonder, I'm going to look at one of my videos.
Yeah, one of my more recent videos is a video about Serious Sam. And, it's got the same exact reaction. People hate it just the same as they hated that Skyrim video 5 years ago. But the difference is that the video is just full of angry, vitriolic ranting. So it's kind of funny. If people react the same way to the hyperbolic anger as they do to a really, academic, measured, thoughtful paced video, you might as well make them exciting. You might as well make it interesting.
Yeah.
But
Sure.
we
Well,
need to talk shop about YouTube for 20 hours.
That's okay. Well, I mean, like it's kind of died down, but I'm waiting, man. I'm really amazed that he got Pennsylvania. So I mean, like that's like, I mean, everybody would.
At this point, Clinton needs 55. I think it's unlikely she's able to get those votes. Trump only needs 6. It's pretty guaranteed that he's going to get 3 from Alaska. So then all he needs is to win either Wisconsin or Arizona or Minnesota. So I mean or Michigan rather.
Well, there's Minnesota
Looks like
got 10.
Trump pulled this off.
Yeah, it's 10 electoral votes for Minnesota, and it's 47 to 45. So like she's definitely going to get Minnesota, but that's 10. So then she needs basically 45 more 45 more electoral votes. So even if she won Wisconsin and Michigan, or she's not going to win Michigan. So we'll just take Michigan off there. I'm going to just make a bet.
Well, yeah. So I
So-
mean, that's the thing.
10.
So Trump's got Alaska. Let's say he's got Alaska. That takes him up to only needing 3 more electoral college votes to win. Means that he only has to win Arizona or Wisconsin or Michigan.
He's just got to
And it's-
basically. I'm almost
He's
certain
got to
he's going
hold
to
it
get
there.
Michigan.
I mean, yeah, it looks like it's a Trump victory. So
Yeah, because even if he won Michigan and she won Minnesota, Wisconsin, and Arizona, she'd only get 39. She'd still be too far
yeah,
behind.
Trump's over the 270.
Yep. It's going to be interesting. It won't be a landslide, but it's a lot bigger gap than I anticipated. Once I honestly thought she was going to hammer on him. I thought he was going to just go nowhere.
I was fearful, but yeah, I mean, it looks like he's got a solid lead in Arizona, so that right there would be enough to win it. He's also got a bit of a lead in Michigan.
Oh yeah, well Michigan,
Not
he's
much,
sold.
20,000.
Yeah, but I mean that's pretty big, dude. Michigan, I think he's got Michigan. Well, because like look at Michigan is, if you click on Michigan, Michigan's pretty much fully reported.
Hey, he's got actually a 3% lead in Wisconsin as well. So Wisconsin is pretty solidly in there.
Yeah, I think. Let's see if
96% reporting in Wisconsin, and he leads by 3%. So yeah, that's the ball game, I guess.
I want to see. I want to see what happens. Do they do the speech tonight? Like, do they do the speech the minute they win? Because I want to see that shit. I actually want to watch Hillary shut her fucking mouth. I want her to be done.
Who's going to be awake to see that?
Because now I'm interested.
Yeah, exactly.
And then I want to make
now we're committed. But people on the East Coast, it's already 1 o'clock in the morning, isn't it?
Yeah, but they were saying like
2
last
o'clock in the
time, like I think it was Michigan. Trump held a rally at 1 o'clock in the morning in Michigan, and there was like thousands upon thousands of people there at 1 o'clock in the morning. It was like one of his last rallies.
Like it was, I didn't want to use this as a reason, right? Like you see all the footage of rallies, you see a couple people at Hillary rallies, and you see the footage of just huge islands of people at Trump rallies. Looking at that, it was like Trump has this in the bag. But I think I resisted that, but it maybe was more accurate than we thought it was.
Well, yeah. Well, but that's the thing is, like, you look at Hillary rallies, they never, I mean, if Hillary's rallies were so big, don't you think a genius cameraman would be like, hey, man, get on the highest fucking level you possibly can because we got to show how big this place is.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
yeah,
no,
I mean, people have been using the sky cam, the football sky cam, the one that flies around the crowd. Like, look at this big crowd, but instead they were like, let's just not look in that direction.
Just stay honed in on the
to see there.
Well, and like, so another thing I was thinking about this too is like everybody talked all this shit about Clinton winning. And I mean, dude, I'm not saying that the game is up because you never know what'll happen. But I'm going to tell you right now, like, if anybody wants to gripe and moan about him being elected, this is just proof that anything can happen in America. Anything. No matter how tied down we think we are, no matter how much the mass media says all their bullshit, how much Facebook says whatever, anything can happen in America, okay? That's just like anything. Plus, my friend Aiden's going to run for governor.
Yeah, exactly. And if Donald Trump can become president, then surely I can be governor of lowly Oregon.
Shit, I'm gonna get on city council, and then I'm gonna start up a pay-to-play thing, and you can like be part of it. And like,
right. And then if anybody tries to get you in trouble for it, you can just be like, "Well, Hillary's not in jail," and they have to be like, "Well, good point."
Yeah, exactly. And like, I'm gonna start the High Desert Tactical Foundation, and like, it's like to help people like myself and Fortune 500 companies. We'll take donations to ourselves. It'll be great. I think it's a great idea. You can totally be part of it.
Yeah, I think the best part about this whole election, like I don't know, I'm not like a Trump guy or anything, but what I'm most impressed by is that this kind of shows that the system works.
You know,
like there was
that's
so much controversy that I was worried that like a Hillary win would be like, sure she won, but did she win? Like who really knows? The system is so thoroughly rigged, blah blah blah. But then again, if you want to get super tinfoil hat in this, maybe the establishment realizes they had to concede this one to Trump, or people would start to realize it was rigged. Aha.
I do have to play devil's advocate.
Sure.
So we got Kevin McCoy in the chat, and let's see what's going on. He's just talking about Iraqi, or Cole mentioned Iraq, and that he liked, or was he Iraqi veteran? Was the new would respond every PM. Now he's a uber famous. Oh, he's just past conversation. But Kevin McCoy just says that he liked Rubio and Trump is just okay. And I'm commenting back. I'm actually gonna say like Rubio was cool. Like I liked how young he was, and I liked like his tenacity and like how kind of firm he stood on things. But he kept flip flopping, and that bothered the crap out of me. So like that's Kevin and Cole, we're trying to respond to you guys, so you definitely make sure that you comment, and we're going to talk to you if we can. But that, I can understand like why you would like Rubio. I liked Rubio. He had really good presence, especially when speaking, but he kept flip flopping. That bothered me a lot.
Yeah. I don't know. I did not really have a dog in the fight of the early Republican primaries. I really, really still like Ron Paul, and I kind of wanted to like Rand Paul as an extension of that. But, nothing that he really said or did made me say, oh, yeah, this guy is a worthy successor to Ron Paul.
Well, I think the other thing, too, with him was, like, he had great ideals, but he never stood affirm to him. Like he never stood his ground. He was always like trying to play the favorite, and so he was like he was basically pussyfooting around.
Yeah, I think a libertarian could actually make some progress if they were they kind of did the Trump route of basically saying this whole system is bullshit, that it's designed so that 51% of the country is happy and 49% of the country is miserable. We can do better. Libertarianism, freedom, liberty, justice for all. I don't know. I think that kind of like an impassioned libertarian candidate could actually do pretty well. But the problem is that libertarians want to get by on the rational, reasonable thought process where they say, well, actually, if you look at the numbers and you look at the policies, I'd be the best president.
Well, yeah.
People are going to be like, I don't want to do that. I'm voting for somebody else.
Exactly.
Libertarians have to get angry.
Well, that's the thing, too, is like you said it. It's like, look at this, look at that, look at that. And it's like, I hate to say it, man. The American people are lazy. You got to tell them what you're going to do. You got to tell them, this is what I'm going to do. These are the things that are happening, and I'm going to make it do this. Like, if a libertarian was smart enough, they'd take a little bit of lead from the Democrats and from the Republicans of their basis. Because, no offense, but the way I look at libertarianism is that they are literally they're like the redheaded stepchild of a Democrat and a Republican that had like a drunken night together.
Yeah, I always like to joke that everybody hates libertarians. That like Republicans look at the libertarians and they're like, you're just a liberal, and liberals look at libertarians and they're like, you're just a Republican. And
exactly.
Like, it seems that way to you because everything looks the same from your perspective. A two-dimensional view.
Exactly. But that's the thing is like. I'm not saying the libertarians don't have a chance. It's just I think they need to. You got to play the game, man. You can't like just hope that logic and the truth will help you. Like the truth will win because the truth does not set you free. The truth doesn't put people in jail either, because like look at bullshit dumbass. Like, dude, that's one thing. Okay, totally, still kind of on topic, but that reminded me. Okay, so. Cole, Kevin, Aiden, me. How do you guys feel about if Trump is elected and do you think he will pursue putting Hillary in jail? Or do you think she's going to figure out a way to become buddy? She's smart. She's going to be buddy with him. That's what, because like, dude, she's got to keep making her money. And now he's like in the big office. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think having won the presidency, Trump will be like, Hillary, all's forgiven. I need your support.
Yeah, like you're gonna help me.
I mean, I think if he does really stick to his guns and say, we're coming after you, I think that's gonna, that's something we should also try to discuss is what's going to happen now. What is going to be the fallout from this? Hopefully not like radioactive fallout. What's going to be the fallout of this election cycle? And I think that prosecuting Hillary, a Trump-led prosecution of Hillary would be sulfur in the wound. It would inflame the losing party, and would probably not be that good. But on the other hand, that's the only chance I think that they have to really get a proper investigation, because there's so much dirty money involved, in the existing FBI investigation of Hillary. Yeah, I don't know. It seems like the right thing to do is to pursue the investigation, but it may not be the winning move.
Well, but like the question is like look at what's going on with the voting and stuff. Like maybe the American people, because I mean, like Trump did make it pretty damn clear that he was like gonna pursue making Hillary like pay. I mean, that was like what he was saying, right?
Mm-hmm.
What's going on with Maine? Maine is showing.
Maine is stripy colored.
Yeah, what's going on there? Let's see, Maine. 48. Oh, here, I'm going to click on it. I keep forgetting that you can click
do
on it.
Maine's votes get split?
It might have been, let's see, 48 to 45. So I clicked on it. That doesn't make sense. Am I reading that right? Yeah, it's Maine, not Vermont. Come on, man. Come on, Michigan.
I wish I knew more about the world. How does Maine work?
They have
all
lobsters.
States except for Maine and Nebraska. Okay, there was a shit. I lost it. All right, all states except for Maine and Nebraska have chosen electors on a winner-take-all basis since the 1880s. So Maine is not winner-take-all. Maine is split based on the votes. What they're saying is that Maine went majority Democrat, but some of their electoral college does go to the Republicans.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Yeah,
that's something that I knew but forgot, I think.
Yeah,
I was. Got 4 votes, so who gives a shit?
They were talking about that, about how the electoral votes can be divided. So it's Maine and one other.
Of their 4 votes, their 4 useless Oregon-style votes, 3 went to Clinton, 1 went to Trump. So I guess
hey, man,
it's better than winner take all, I guess, but still just ridiculous.
That's one more to be ahead of dumbass Clinton.
Yeah, Cole, I think you might be right. I think Cole says that he thinks Trump will pursue the prosecution of Hillary Clinton over the various scandals, the Clinton Foundation pay to play, the illegal server, the lying to Congress. Yeah, because he's the kind of guy who's like, I said I was going to do this, I'm going to frickin' do it, or just the kind of guy who's sort of prideful and is like, I want to win.
Well, so Cole does make a second point. He says that Trump doesn't have to worry about the money, so you can step on people's toes and not give a shit.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
rich people could always use more money. I mean, the Clintons have $1 billion in the bank now from all those donations, and they don't seem to be slowing down. So, just because he has money doesn't mean he doesn't want more money.
Well, that's true.
But it was a really good place to start, with him basically saying, I don't need this for the money. I need this because I want to do the right thing. Or maybe because he's Donald Trump, I also want to do this because I've hit the peak of my fame just by being on reality TV.
I don't know, man. It's a lot. Like, it takes a lot of people to run for president. I mean, just like I said, this proves that anything can happen.
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing, too, is think about it this way. Dang it, I had a question. I was going to ask you guys what your opinion was. Shoot, I'll have to rethink it. So, it was a good question because it was something I didn't know the answer to, and I wanted to know if you guys, that's why, dang it, I'll have to think about it.
One thing I was considering was, do you think there's going to be, protests and riots? Because the way that this election has been built up, as in, I just clicked on a video and it was really loud. Anyways, yeah, so this election has been built up to this like battle of the fates, fate of the universe rests on this election. So do you think that there's a possibility that Hillary supporters will challenge it, will try to protest, or will just not accept the results because to them it matters so much?
Yeah, it's good. I mean, you got to admit, like, a lot of Hillary supporters are the ones that were vandalizing and stealing signs.
Mm-hmm.
And they're,
Yeah, I
like,
mean, I've seen like an absurd level of violence from people against, someone who hasn't done anything, just voting differently than them.
Well, and the other thing too is, like, I mean, there was evidence of entities of Hillary's campaign and her establishment paying people to go and incite issues at Trump rallies. I mean, there's evidence.
Yeah, so I mean, it could be that they incite, so maybe some people have peaceful protests, which fine, whatever, they can do that if they want to. They can be sore losers in protest. Maybe they pay people to show up to those protests, incite further violence, or maybe it just naturally escalates anyways. Who knows?
It's I mean, I don't know. Like, this is definitely like a close race for sure, but it's not so close that it's tied. So, like, they could protest and demand like a rematch or some BS, but in reality, like, the numbers are proving that, like, he's winning the popular vote and he's winning the electoral vote.
Yeah, and it looks like at this stage, he's probably got Alaska, Arizona, Wisconsin, and Michigan. So he's going to pick up another. He needs 4 more votes. He's going to pick up another 20 or something. I mean, he's going to solidly win. It looks like.
Yeah, I mean,
it's impressive. It's a solid Trump win. I don't know.
It's amazing. I'm astonished. This is probably one of the most amazing elections I've ever been able to witness.
I'm going to need a cigarette after this.
Oh, man. Dude, this was so worth it. I'm so glad I fired up this stupid chat and you hopped on. That was awesome.
Yeah. I'm glad that we got to watch the world not come to an end tonight.
Dude, Cole gave some good input. Kevin, my buddy Jason stopped by, but I don't know what he did. He probably, knowing him, he was like, bear. But, oh, man. Let's see. I'm like,
I feel like I don't have to watch the rest of this until they officially call it. I think it's pretty good.
I know. I mean, if you want, we can end the chat, but I think I'm gonna stay up because I can't, like, fuck it. It's 11 o'clock. I don't care.
Yeah.
I'll just go home. I'm just gonna go to work tomorrow as a zombie. But I'm gonna, like, freak out. Like, dude, everybody in my office they were like, Trump's not gonna. They're like, we hate to admit it, but he's gonna lose. She's gonna crush him. Blah blah blah. And I was like, yo, why do you gotta talk like that? And I was like, you might be right.
Never give up. Never surrender.
Dude, never give up. Never surrender. And if Trump can be president, dude, I'm gonna have my kid. And my kid's gonna come to me and like, Daddy, kids at school said I can't be a hairdresser. And I'll be like, son, if Trump can be president, you could be a goddamn hairdresser if you want.
It's kind of funny. We have like a new go-to joke because when Bush was in power, it was like look, even a C student can be president. Now it's like, look, even a B-list Hollywood celebrity can be president.
Yeah.
Actually, that's what Reagan was anyway, right? I mean,
well, he was. Yeah, Reagan was actually.
Before.
He did movies, and then he was in the military. He did like military video or films and stuff, like education films and stuff. Like Reagan really didn't have as much political background. Yeah, it's like, he didn't have as much political background. He had military background and like leadership skills of some way or another. I actually don't know the entirety of what he had happen, but it was kind of interesting.
Yeah. Well, I mean, California likes to talk tough, but they elected Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah, they did. Well,
that wasn't Oregon. That was California.
I was pretty impressed with like Schwarzenegger as being the governor because he really didn't like do that fucking. He didn't like destroy the. He just kind of like hung out. I think he was like on retirement.
Yeah, all I can remember him doing was appearing in all those like, "Hey, come to California" videos.
Yeah, exactly.
people doing cool stuff in California, and then he and his wife walking around on the beach like, hey, come to California.
Dude,
Like, do you need to advertise for California? It's California. It's like, do you need to advertise for Hawaii? People know Hawaii's there. People love Hawaii.
exactly.
You've got to advertise for, like, Maine, scenic Maine. Nobody wants to go there.
Yeah. The oil flats of Iowa. I don't know. So Hawaii's votes finally came in. Dude, 65% for Hillary and 28% for Hawaii. That's like a big lead. That's like,
Well,
I wonder why Hawaii likes bozo, old crooked Clinton.
it's because Hawaii, right? It's too expensive to live in Hawaii, so people are always feeling the pinch of $9 gallons of milk.
Well, and they're
And so they
$8
vote that-
cups of coffee too.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's not like they can just stop buying $8 cups of coffee.
Well, you gotta buy them.
You've got to give, and it's not going to be the $8 cups of coffee. So they need to elect Hillary Clinton, so they have a safety net.
Let's see, swing states. So how many swing states are there? So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So
Oh,
Trump
wow.
won over half of the swing states.
Yep.
That's funny.
Yeah, I think it's interesting that there's obviously some bias with Google statistics. One of their headline statistic is Clinton won more counties where at least 45% of the population was black.
That's well. Fuck,
And
I
it's
don't know.
it's like, sure, I don't doubt that for a second. First of all, second of all, that what are you trying to say there? It's the implicit I think the implied statement there is that Donald Trump shouldn't be president because the majority of the black population doesn't support him. And it's like, that's not how this works, right? Black people aren't such a majority in this country that their preference should be the country's preference.
Yeah.
But it is interesting. I mean,
I do believe that.
50% black vote for Trump. I was all actually expecting a little bit higher because I thought there would be a lot of black voters disenfranchised with what Barack Obama has failed to do over the last 8 years.
I think a lot of people oh God, forgive me for saying this. If I come across racist, call it whatever you will, but I think a lot of people of color probably vote for Clinton because Barack Obama endorses her, and they maybe they don't want to appear like they're going against. There's like a loyalty, like they want to be loyal to Barack Obama, whether he sucks or not.
Traitor.
To you, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm a white guy, so everything I say is racist. Everything I think, I got white privilege coming out my ears.
Yeah. Well, the much more cynical take is that there's a large percentage of the African American population is on welfare.
Yep.
And welfare is basically a system where you are paid a bunch of money in order to vote Democrat.
Yeah.
That's your job. Your job is to vote Democrat.
Yep.
So just hang out, stay alive, and when the time comes, vote Democrat.
So
That's so cynical. I hate saying that, but I mean, I don't see a lot of evidence for that to not be true.
Cole made a good point, and I actually agree with Cole. This is off subject of what you're talking about, but he says he thinks that all presidents should be in the military because they tend to know how to treat who they are sending to arms the way and sending them into harm's way and know how to treat them when they come home. And I honestly believe that he's absolutely right. I mean, to call a president a commander in chief, in reality, a commander or chief is in a military or law enforcement or leadership role where you lead people. I mean, it's just so I really wish you had to have a military background to be a president, but I mean, that's what is, like I said, anything can happen in America. But the one thing I will say about Trump is I've been following a lot of articles on him and stuff, and Trump actually has a lot of respect for our troops, a lot. So back in the early 90s, during Desert Storm, there was like a group of men that got waylaid trying to get back home to leave, and they got stuck somewhere, and like the flight place would not fly them, and Trump somehow caught wind of it, and so he sent one of his jets over there and picked up this galleon or platoon or whatever of military people and flew them all home. And these guys didn't even know who Trump was. They're like, they don't even understand who Trump was, but Trump did that for them because, he I don't know, he did it because he could. Mm-hmm. It's so funny is like nobody ever interviewed him about that or anything. And, I would love to know what his thought process was about that. But in many of his speeches, he's talked about trying to help our veterans. Like our veterans need help, so like whether he has military background or not, I'm assuming he'll have military experts assisting him in making decisions for military purposes, whether it's like building our military or helping our military, helping our veterans, helping better giving the skills we veterans need in order to like live a good life in America, live the freedoms that they fought for without being, beat up.
Yeah.
Oh, and Cole knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I would say that I disagree that all presidents should be in the military, as long as you get a good candidate who understands that the lives that they lose in war are just as important as their own. And I think it's just more of a mindset thing. And yeah, I think military service could definitely help somebody who didn't already feel that way learn it. But a lot of people just, naturally they would balk at starting a conflict. And that's part of this election I thought was interesting to me is like people say Trump's crazy, he's going to nuke people for no reason. I'm like, of course that's not going to happen. Like that's just a ridiculous thing to say. A realistic concern is that Hillary Clinton is all about the nation building and would get us involved in conflicts, right? And that's when people actually die. Like the whole country getting annihilated because Trump got pissed off over a tweet and nuked somebody. Like that's not really going to happen. Like, yeah, that would be a horrible, horrible tragedy where the whole planet got nuked, billions of lives lost, but that's not actually going to happen. What is actually going to happen is that Hillary Clinton or whoever ended up in power would get us involved in a bunch of little proxy conflicts in the Middle East, and we'd keep losing soldiers for no good reason. So in that way, Donald Trump understands that you can't just throw lives at the problem just to improve your economy or, your position in this weird global power conflict we've got going on. So I don't think we need to have a veteran president as long as we have a president who's judicious with their use of military force.
And the other thing too is a lot of people believe that like he just has his finger over this button for nukes. No, there's checks and balances that go on, and like there's like probably hundreds of people that are involved in making those decisions.
No, he is going to get a nuke the whole entire planet app installed on his POTUS iPhone.
Dude, I think he's gonna have one of those like emergency alert buttons on that chain around his neck, so
like a life alert. So if he falls and he can't get up, he's like, "Well, fuck it, I'm nuking the whole planet."
Yeah, exactly. Like, oh my god, China made me upset. Blow him up.
Yep.
Like, no,
that's it.
I honestly think he's gonna be a lot more poised than what people anticipate. I think a lot of people think he's gonna be this big, floppy-haired, like, crybaby slamming his hands down in the White House all the time. And I honestly believe he's going to be sitting at a table, reading papers, talking to people, and, like, making decisions. Like, he's just going to be like, okay, what's next on the docket? I honestly believe he'll bust his butt.
I just don't see the temperament. People point to all these tweets, and it's like, he's like a TV comedian. So all these tweets that you say show he has a thin skin, I think it's just him being funny.
Well, and the other thing too is it shows that he's listening. See, like people
he's
talk
actually
so
paying
much
attention.
Exactly, and like people talk shit about Barack Obama, you never see him talk about it. So like, you just like in one way you can take that as that he doesn't give a shit. But at least Trump's like, hey, like I hear what you're saying. It's like that. It's like the mom telling you to go to your room and you're like mumbling to yourself, and she's like, "What'd you say?" Go, boy, you better not. You get your ass in that room. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Come on, man. They're really like I bet you a lot of states are arguing right now. They're like, no, recount it. Alaska, recount your 55 votes. Everybody else is too drunk to do it. I've been to Alaska. People like to drink there. It's a big drinking place.
Well, what else are they gonna do? How do you sleep when it's bright all the time unless you're just hammered?
I don't know. When I worked in the fish plant up there, we had sunrooms. And like literally it's a room with like couches, and it's actually really nice inside. And they have UV bulbs, like natural light bulbs, and you go sit in there and read a book. And it's supposed to make you feel better. It's pretty funny. They had TV, and like people could play cards and stuff too. Hey,
try to stave off the seasonal, what is it, seasonal affectation disorder or something?
I guess so. I don't know much about. I mean, I was never like when I worked up there, I was never long enough to actually be affected by it. But like when I worked in the fish plant, it was pretty crazy. I was there for like 6 months, 8 months. I don't remember. So what is the Green Party? Jill Stein, what is a Green Party?
Oh, it's a party for retarded people. No, okay, I'm being mean. The Green Party is just like they're like extra liberals, you know. They'd almost be a good party fit for Bernie Sanders, I think.
I'm a liberal with extra liberal.
Green.
Let's see. The Green Party is a formally organized political party based on the principles of green politics, such as social justice, environmentalism, and
sorry, you
nonviolence.
said social justice, and now I want to kill myself.
Greens believe that these issues are inherently related to one another as a foundation of world peace. Interesting. For some on the U.S. left, Green Party is a strategic vote. Yeah, your 1% really did a lot. I mean, not to sound like a dick, but
yeah, I think it's interesting that, you know, people probably talk more about like Republicans losing votes to libertarians because libertarians and Republicans are closer, and then Democrats losing votes to the Green Party. And it's like maybe they lost a couple votes to the Green Party, but I think even if you gave all of Jill Stein's votes to Hillary Clinton, no questions asked, you'd still lose.
So Colt's talking about they passed a law for High Point beer. What is High Point beer?
Oh, like a high alcohol content, like
that's got. I mean, I'm assuming that's it. Yeah, I mean, he's listening.
Oh, that's what it is. That's what my other thing is for governor. Just do away with the whole liquor store garbage, because when I lived in Japan for a while, it was kind of like you'd go to the grocery store and you'd go to the liquor section, and they'd have all the beer and they'd have all the hard liquor just in the store.
Dude, so
like,
when I lived,
who gives a crap? Just put it on the freaking shelves. Don't make people go to a special stupid store.
No, dude, Oregon is all about their special taxes. That's why that's why our concealed weapons permit is only good for our state. Like, you know, you can't have anybody else's concealed weapons permit. They don't respect reciprocity. You know, they gotta, you know, cigarettes got their own taxes. We got gas taxes. Like, Oregon's gotta have their piece, bro. Gotta have their piece.
I should follow up. I don't know if there was a bill on the measure. I don't know if it was local or if it was all of Oregon that was about adding a tax to marijuana sales.
Well, they're already taxing it, so I mean, they would be it'd be a redundant tax. I mean, and there's a lot. Like, they've been talking about, like, since we started doing it, like, they've pulled in a lot of money from it for how little that's going on comparatively. One thing, let's see. Beer in Oklahoma has to be 3.2% or get it at a liquor store. Okay, I gotcha. So it's like considered hard liquor if it's.
Oh, man. All right. Cole, I don't know if you've ever been to Japan, but in Japan, they have such strict like purity and alcohol content laws for their beer that the three main brands, okay, it's Sapporo, Asahi, and Kirin, I think are the three big ones. Maybe I'm forgetting a fourth, but I can't remember. Anyways, all three of them have a standard beer, all three of which are seriously, they're just identical. There's no difference between the three beers because they all have to hit the exact same alcohol content and the exact same ingredients list and stuff like that. And then they have a sport beer. They call it sport beer, which is like 1.5% alcohol. So there's 3.5% alcohol regular beer, 1.5% alcohol sport beer, and then below that you've got like the most ridiculous, kind of like a Smirnoff Ice or something. Things called like Chew High, which is like a fruity drink that I guess has a little alcohol in it, but almost none. And the whole deal is that the normal beer at 3.5% alcohol gets taxed a certain amount, but if you have less alcohol, it's not taxed as much. So they have those 3 tiers. They keep introducing liquor with less alcohol so that they can make more money because they don't have to pay as much taxes. And then the laws are rewritten to tax it, and they have to introduce a newer, lower alcohol content beer. And I took a picture of something that I saw there. It was Asahi Zero. And it's 0% alcohol, 0 calories, 0 sugars. And the tagline is a beer-flavored beverage from Asahi. It is a no-calorie, no-alcohol, beer-flavored liquid. It's just like, oh, jeez. It's like freaking a nuclear arms race in reverse with beer.
That's funny.
Oh, jeez. All right. I don't know if that anecdote is as funny as I thought it was in my head, but
I don't know. It's pretty funny to just the latter effect of like doing that. Oh, we're gonna tax some more. Okay, we'll make less alcohol. Oh, we're gonna tax that more. Okay, we're gonna just make it less. We'll just keep lowering it as you raise it.
I mean, that's how all laws work. That they say this is the law we need to make us safer or happier or healthier, and then after that doesn't work because it will never work, they're like, okay, well, it was a step in the right direction, but what we really need is 5 round magazine capacities. What we really need is no detachable magazines at all. What we really need is no semi-automatic firearms. What we really need is nothing but black powder muzzle loaders. You know, what we really need is to confiscate all firearms and air guns and any look-alike replica guns, and then you will be safe. And then when you're still not safe, I guess then they're like the UK, and then they come and try to take your knives, your locking knives.
Oh, God.
Because those are assault weapons of the highest caliber.
So, like, back to so my experience with like hard alcohol. So from Oregon, always knew about liquor stores. Really didn't know much different. I'm in California. I'm in Sacramento. I've only been there for like maybe 2 days, and I'm like, oh, I gotta go grocery shopping, gotta get some food. So I go. I'm in Fred Meyer's shopping, pushing my little cart. I'm like, oh, the wine aisle. I don't drink wine. Oh well. So I go down this aisle to like head to the frozen food area, and I look to my left, and I'm like, that's a 5th of Jack Daniels. Just sitting like I actually like.
Did somebody leave this here?
Yeah, somebody forgot
sir,
this.
you left behind a case of Jack Daniels.
Yeah, dude, it was. I about fell over. Like I was like, I remember holding the bottle, being like, I can just grab this. I can like, do I just put it in the cart? Do I gotta ask for assistance? And the person that I was living with at the time, they're like, yeah, we don't have liquor stores in California. I was like, this is the most amazing thing I've ever seen.
Wow, you're easily impressed.
Oh, dude, I was dumbfounded.
Oh,
I was dumbfounded that there was like it was like a whole wall, a whole aisle of booze. Just booze coming out their ears. It was awesome.
Yeah, some people, it just makes sense. I don't know. Oregon's got some weird ideas, I guess. Well, Cole says that he was in Japan in 2000 before he was old enough to drink, and that he turned 21 before he got to Thailand, so he got to drink Vietnamese/Thai beer. When I went to Japan, I was 20 years old, and I had my 21st birthday there, but since the legal drinking age is 20 in Japan, I was basically legal to drink as soon as I got there. And I didn't drink then, and I don't really drink now, but, you know, at least it was kind of cool to be able to go to the little convenience store and be like, yeah, I'll just have this beer. And they would, basically, if you were a foreigner, they were not going to card you. You know, they just didn't give a crap. And I don't know if it's because they thought foreigners looked older than they really are, or if they're just like, I don't want this hassle.
Plus, you're like 6'7".
Yeah, that definitely helps. And, you know, I probably looked, well, I don't know, at that time. Yeah, I don't know. I looked pretty haggard for most of my time in Japan because I had a whole host of problems. But, yeah. probably buying a pack of Oreos and a large Mountain Dew at the convenience store every day was not a healthy thing to do.
What are you talking about? I do that with beef jerky and Pepsi.
Oh, damn. Nice.
I love me some Pepsi in the morning. Not really. I used to drink soda in the morning. It's so bad. I switched to coffee. It's even better.
I've had to tone down my soda consumption because apparently I was wearing out my tooth enamel. And my dentist was like, they were like, wow, your teeth, do you drink soda? And I was like, yeah. And they're like, do you drink it a lot? And I was like, yeah. And they're like, do you drink it like in the car? Like, do you just have a bottle that you sip on all day? And I'm like, yeah. And they're like, okay, you need to not do any of that anymore. I was like, ah, shit. So
Dude.
I guess I'm allowed to like have a soda with a meal, but I can't just sip on a soda all day because I'm essentially just percolating my teeth in battery acid.
Yeah, it does melt pennies.
Yeah,
So I'm looking at the Senate and the House. It's pretty interesting that the Republicans still held the Senate and the House, and they were, dude. Everybody was projecting that the Democrats were gonna probably get it back. Of course, everybody thought Hillary is gonna win too. So.
Right, yeah. Turns out they didn't know dick about shit.
No, yeah, their dicks were in shit because
Yep.
they were getting. Wait, that's backwards. Damn it.
Because because I can make this work. It's because Donald Trump was getting butt fucked by the establishment. There we go. That's why their dicks were in shit. This whole podcast just got real blue.
Let's see. I want to. Do you remember? So you remember Team America, right?
Oh yeah.
Hold on. Oh, dang it. Hold on. It's like one of the best like monologues.
I think I know where you're going with this.
Hold on. It's one of the best ever. Oh,
Man, I
come
watched that
on.
movie like 6 times when it was still new, and I haven't seen it at all since then. I kind of think if I watched it again, it wouldn't hold up, and it would ruin my impression of the film.
Dang it. Script. And I want to. I still can't get over the part.
Google called it. Trump got Wisconsin, and he's over the 270, so it's official. Donald Trump is the next president of the United States of America.
Hillary, you can suck a big weenie.
Lock and load.
Big jerk. I've heard that sound before. Are you like loading at your stapler? That sounded totally like a swing line stapler.
No, it's a boss stitch.
This is boss stitch.
I don't fuck with no swing line.
That's all I know. I just know swing line. Greatest speech ever. Oh, here we go. Let's see. Pussies don't like dicks because pussies get fucked by dicks. But dicks also fuck assholes. And assholes that just want to shit on everything. Pussies may think they can deal with assholes their way, but the only thing that can fuck an asshole is a dick with some balls. The problem with dicks is that they fuck too much or fuck when it isn't appropriate. And when it takes a pussy to show them that, but sometimes a pussy can be so full of shit they become assholes themselves because pussies are 1.5 inches away from an asshole. I don't know about damn it. I don't know much about this crazy world, but I do know this. If you don't let us fuck this asshole, we're going to have our dicks and pussies covered in shit. Oh my God. One of the best. Oh, dude. And it's titled on a blog, Greatest Speech Ever.
Perfect.
That's so funny. All right. That's how Donald Trump freaking does it. You know, because dicks fuck pussies and assholes, and pussies can't fuck assholes. And pussies become assholes themselves because they're 2 inches away from an asshole.
We had to let Donald Trump grab that pussy because if not, we would all be covered in shit.
Dude.
I think.
The true words. I agree with that.
Cole, it's not a red stapler. It's a real, nice looking black one. I'll send you a link.
Dude,
actually, this is like seriously, like I have on my desk.
He's quoting Office Space.
I know, but I
But
just wanted
not
to
as
know
good as-
that just because the swing line featured so heavily in Office Space doesn't mean it's actually a superior stapler.
But I have a swing line, but mine's black.
No, the classic boss. Okay, here we go. Seriously, the stupid roundy Art Deco like 1960s bullshit that the swing line has going for it is not a match for the perfect like post-industrial, simple, clean lines of the original classic boss stitch. So I linked it. Oh shoot, I can't link it. I cannot
have to
post
go-
the link.
Oh, it won't. Oh, dang it. Never mind. Just trust him.
Damn it.
Cool.
Well, anyways, suffice it to say, let's see. Maybe I can send it to you in the Google Hangout chat thing. And you can
You're
play
so
do
funny.
this.
I'm not even in the chat window. It's closed.
No, but the oh well. I don't know. I don't know how Google Hangouts works. Anyways, just Google boss stitch classic
Just say you
stapler.
Google it, Cole, and don't.
Boss
Sorry.
stitch classic stapler. Yeah, it's the perfect stapler. Like you can't improve on perfection, and Boss Stitch got it right the first time.
This is all because we blocked our relatives instead of yelling at them. So my friend Molly, she's really mad that Trump got elected. I don't get it. This is all because we blocked our relatives instead of yelling at them.
No, it's because apparently you allowed your racist uncle and your racist grandpa. You just blocked them, so you didn't yell at them, so they didn't learn the error of their ways. So they are still racist, and they still voted for Trump. If you had just yelled at your family, if you had just been an asshole to your own family, then this would all have been averted.
Yeah, exactly. You would have saved the world.
Yeah, if only I had been an asshole to my family.
Dude, that's so funny. A friend of mine says she believes that we have a revolution. You think that's going to create a revolution? No way.
Oh, man, people are already saying, "Hey, can we assassinate this guy?"
Oh, people are so stupid.
That's just, gross.
So let's see. Did Trump win Nebraska? Because somebody is like, "What happened, Nebraska family?" Yep. Because like they don't. Stupidest, most self-destructive act a country could undertake. USA, hold my dream, dude. So awesome.
That's fucking awesome.
One of my friends posted it says Britain. Brexit is the stupidest, most self-destructive act a country could undertake. The USA is USA. Hold my drink. See, if you vote for Trump today, make sure you explain to your LGBT plus female, Black, Latino, and Muslim friends why they don't matter to you.
What?
Dude.
That's just not even okay. Whatever. Fuck it. I guess people want to believe what they want to believe about Donald Trump, and apparently the fact that he's pro-LGBT doesn't really concern them. Whatever. Honestly, that's why I was grudgingly pro-Trump. It's just because people were just making up the worst kinds of shit about Trump and Trump supporters. It's like they haven't done anything to you. They haven't said anything to give you that indication. And you're shitting all over him. Oh, well. Seeing as I know real people who actually agreed 100% with Hillary's line about how 50% of the country is deplorable, they're like, well, she's right. They are deplorable.
Sure.
All right. Let's just say that it's acceptable to hate 50% of the country. Well.
Content is no longer. Oh, that's so funny. She wrote that and then took it off. That's stupid. Don't post shit like that if you're gonna delete it, you butthole.
Well, sometimes you gotta say it out loud before you realize how stupid it sounds.
Except for then you have me like commenting to you.
Yeah.
Let's see. Immigration. Let's see how. Actually, I gotta give Google a little bit of credit. Like, so right now you can see, like, you can go to Donald Trump's stance on issues. So you click on immigration. It says restore integrity to our immigration system by prioritizing the interests of Americans first, enforce our immigration laws at the border and at the workplace, build a border wall and end sanctuary cities, send criminal aliens home, welcome those who embrace our way of life, but keep out immigrants and refugees who don't go through rigorous vetting. They are bringing drugs. They are bringing crime. They're rapists, Trump said, or undocumented Mexican immigrants while announcing his candidacy last June. I must have did okay.
To be super honest with you, in the last debate when he was talking about like the serious crime problems along the border and how, like, you know, the coyotes that are bringing people over are like raping them as a payment.
Yeah, they do that. That's true.
It's like totally all true. But then he said that they were some bad hombres, and I was like, that's it. He just lost. People are going to be like, oh, how racist of him to call them bad hombres. I was like, he should have been smarter than to say that, but I guess it didn't affect him. Whatever.
Well, that's the thing is, like, I mean, I think a lot of people appreciated that he was uncouth about things. Like he just says, I think a lot of people liked that he would say shit. Just say it. Like, none of this PC BS. Like, this sucks. Drain the swamp. Like, calling the government a swamp. You ever heard a president call it a swamp? Have you ever heard of a president or a candidate refer to the establishment? Dude, the establishment is a reference to, like, Nazi Germany, for crying out loud.
Yeah, I think it's interesting because so many times you've seen time and time again where a candidate will say, the system is totally broken. It's totally broken. I need to get in and fix it. And then they get in and they're like, no, everything's great. We're doing
here. Where's my check? Do I get the check from you, or where do I go? Do I go to the office? It's coming to me. Is it deposited?
It's kind of interesting. Like, if you know, like, for example, Hillary's campaign, on the one hand, she, as a person running for president, she has to say that things are not as good as they could be. You know, like, basically she has to say Barack Obama's not doing what he should be doing, and if you elect me, I will do those things. But on the other hand, a big push for Hillary was like, hey, you like Obama, right? Hillary is going to be 4 more years of Obama. You're like, you can't have it both ways. You know, people are starting, I think, to figure that out, that, you know, that nothing ever really changes.
No.
Just the little things go up and down year by year.
I mean, dude, change has to happen with Trump in office because he's not a career politician at all. He has, like, no background. So, like, he's not going to do any sing and dance. Like, he's probably going to be like the guy that, like, gets a new job. They're like, okay, Trevor, you're in charge of cleaning up this warehouse, but there's like 50 other people that work in here, and you got to clean up around them, but don't clean up their messes, because then I'm like cleaning everything up, and people are like, hey, what are you doing?
Don't move my stack of paper. I was going to read those someday.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm cleaning up. That's my job. Well, we'll go clean up somewhere else. But in my opinion, Trump would be like, fuck you. Get out of my Oval Office. Bitch, I got 4 years of you doing what I say.
Let's say tangentially related topic. The best thing about working in IT is when somebody has a problem with their computer and you sit down to try to work on it and their screen is like 85% covered with sticky notes.
Oh, yeah.
And you're like, how do you live like this? What the hell?
Like, seriously, like, you, like, pull one note off. You're like, seriously, it's 3 numbers.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not even written, like, horizontally. Like, what's going on?
Yeah. What is this for? What's the point?
Yeah. I mean, like, okay, come on. Dude, so, did you see, oh, dang it. So Cole was Googling your stapler, but he goes, I'm a total queer because I have an electric stapler. That's funny.
Gay.
Hey, I have very weak wrists. I think an electric stapler would be awesome. I'm
starting, like, I'm 26 years old and I'm starting to disintegrate. All right. Like, my carpal tunnel is getting really bad. I may have broken my back. That's a whole fun, exciting story to tell you some other time. Waiting for that whole thing to shake out with workman's comp and everything. But yeah, I'm just falling apart.
Please don't tell me you hurt your back lifting up a ream of paper.
No, it was something like 4,800 CRT monitors.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, that'll beat you up. They were like 70 pounds a piece.
Yep. And when you're taller than everybody and you have to hand something to somebody else, you have to lean over. It just doesn't work.
It just doesn't happen.
So I'm crippled forever now. Also, I was already pretty much blind and deaf in one ear. And I have a bad knees. I broke my left elbow a long time ago and it never healed right, so my left elbow's all messed up.
Don't Don't ever call me old ever again. I'm in better shape than you, and I'm pretty beat up. I broke my ankle once, so that's about as crazy as I've gotten.
I'm sure I've got more problems. I just can't think of them right now.
Oh, Trump. Inside the Trump victory party, where Trump has just become president of the United States. Interesting. I'm gonna have to watch this in the morning.
T-minus a week and a half before somebody tries to shoot him.
Oh, it's gonna be, dude. Oh man.
If he lives to see the Oval Office, it'll be a freaking miracle.
Don't talk like that. That's terrible.
It honestly worries me seeing like every normal people on Facebook saying, hey, can we assassinate this guy? Hey, is it time for another civil war? And it's like, you're saying that sort of ironically, but there are crazy people in the world that see that and think that's what really needs to happen. And you're normalizing that behavior for them. So who knows? Who knows? It's a terrible, mixed up world.
So, America, you are so much more racist and misogynistic than I ever imagined. I'll get my coat. I have a friend, Martin. He's from England. He's not very... He lives here. America.
Oh, boy.
So funny.
I guess I should check Facebook, but I know I'm not going to like what I see. Oh man, I have a story to tell you about mistaken identity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you get your Facebook hacked?
Okay, so here's the story. I'll try to make it as quick as I can. But a couple days ago at like 1 o'clock in the morning, I get a text. Actually, let me make sure I can read these texts accurately. I want to represent the story properly. Okay. I get a text at 1 o'clock in the morning saying, you sleeping elsewhere tonight? From a number I don't recognize, but I know it can tell it's an Oregon area code. And I was like, it's probably just the wrong number. And then 5 minutes later, this is Trevor, by the way. And then a bit worried since it's getting late and I haven't heard from you. And I was thinking, oh shit, did I make plans with Trevor this weekend? Did I totally blow him off? Did I just forget? Like, what kind of asshole am I? But then I was like,
this is me? Like me, Trevor? Or you're a different friend, Trevor?
No, it's a number I don't recognize, but it's coming from somebody who says, this is Trevor, by the way. So I'm thinking like, you got a new phone number and you're texting me because I was planning to hang out with you and I forgot.
Gotcha.
And you say, a bit worried since it's getting late and I haven't heard from you. And I'm like, oh shit, was I supposed to like meet Trevor? But then I'm thinking, I'm like, no, I would not have forgotten something like that. So I texted back, I think you have the wrong number. And then they texted me, is this not Aiden? Then I'm like, oh shit. Somebody named Trevor has my number and is looking for somebody named Aiden. So then I'm like, okay, it has to be Trevor who got a new phone. And
yeah,
I'm not totally sure. But maybe he's drunk or maybe he accidentally texted the wrong person. And I said, yeah, it's me where you're trying to text someone else. And then this other Trevor texts back, no, I was trying to figure out where you were and if you were okay. And I was like, could this be a drunk Trevor? Does Trevor get drunk and text people? I don't think he does. Maybe he does. And then I was like, were you expecting me? Because I'm like, maybe there's something that you thought we were doing that I didn't know we were doing. And then they left a voicemail. I didn't get the call. I just got the voicemail. But it was a voice I didn't recognize saying, I'm not expecting you. I just need to know where you are because I'm responsible for you while your dad's in Portland.
What?
And I was like, okay, what the hell? And then I thought, like, I was starting to kind of put the pieces together here, and I texted back, I think I'm not the Aiden you know, and you're not the Trevor I know. Sorry. But then he texts back, stop the bullshit and call me. And I'm like, oh, fuck. So at that point, I retrieved my handgun from the bedside safe. So I was thinking, okay, is this a crazy person? What's going on? I don't know what the hell's going on. It's kind of freaking me out. So I said, I don't know who gave you my number, but I'm not the person you're trying to reach. And they said, if that's the case, my apologies. And so I started thinking about it, and I was thinking like, okay, this person has to have been given my name and number from somebody who knows me. And the fact that their name is Trevor and that I know a Trevor, that's totally coincidence. But the fact that they have my number and my name means that somebody who knows me gave it to them.
Yeah.
And then I realized that a friend of mine from college has a son named Aiden. And that maybe he was trying to give somebody his son's number and accidentally gave them the first Aiden in his address book.
That's crazy.
And I was like, that's so ridiculous. And then the guy's name just happens to be Trevor, which then I think it's you. So I'm like responding back as if I know what's going on. And then that person thinks that I'm just like, that's why the whole stop the bullshit and call me. They think that initially I'm like, yeah, this is the Aiden and you're the Trevor. And then afterwards I'm like, no, I don't know what you're talking about. They're like, oh, this is just some kid being an asshole. So then the next day I get a text from my friend Douglas from college saying, hey, sorry about the confusion with Trevor last night. And I was like, oh, it all finally makes sense. But there was a couple minutes there in the middle of the night where I was thinking somebody was probably trying to murder me. Something like that. Anyways, I was gonna like try to hit you up on Facebook or call you or something and be like,
Are you drunk?
Are you drunk? Are you trying to murder me? Or what's going on? Is this number you?
I love your new bedspread.
Yeah, you'd probably say something creepy on accident, just not knowing what was going on, and then I'd be like, oh, shit,
I totally would
fire at the door.
You'd be like, if you come near me, I'll kill you. I'd be like, what? I'm just joking.
Like, Trevor, text me again, and I'll come to your house.
Yeah, I know where you live.
I'll kill you in your sleep.
Yeah.
And you're like, I have no idea what you're talking about. I'm like, yeah, sure you don't.
It's about time when the hunter becomes the hunted.
Got my eye on you.
That's funny. Let's see. I've been worried someone would shoot him. I don't know why, but I thought the same about Obama, but he's okay. Well, that's true. Yeah, I mean, like, I'm surprised Obama never got killed. Bush could have got killed. I don't know. People hate everybody.
But yeah, the thing is, like, people didn't think Bush was evil. They thought Bush was stupid. People think Trump is literally Hitler.
Yeah, I don't like. I'm gonna laugh, dude. He's gonna like literally not do anything to the gay community. Like they're gonna be left alone. He's not gonna do anything to like women or African Americans. Like he's like, come on, man, crying out loud.
But then the problem is, 4 years later, some new candidate, for example, is running, and it's going to be the same exact doomsaying again. Oh, this person is the next Hitler. And it's going to be like, okay, the last guy you said was the next Hitler just turned out to be a regular president who did regular president shit for a couple years. But yeah, I don't know.
So funny. I'm like reading comments on things and it says it's not what I expected to happen. I voted for the man and I'm still shocked. That's so funny.
It's another Brexit.
Yeah. Hold my beer.
I think it's funny. People are saying like that Brexit. There's a lot of remorse over Brexit.
I don't know. I talked to a girl from England and she said it really hasn't affected anything too bad.
Yeah. Well, there's also a nice poll that shows that 98% of people don't regret the vote. It's like, yeah, just because you were able to find one person to give a little blurb saying, oh, I voted for Brexit and I shouldn't have. Like, that doesn't mean people think that way. It just means you got somebody to say that on TV.
Well, the other thing, too, is like, I mean, look at, is it Spain? Who lost their government? It's Spain. Like, Spain's working without a government right now.
Spain's a wreck.
But they're like, their economy is actually growing. Like, they didn't lose an economy. Like, their economy hasn't dropped. I mean, I don't know what's going to happen if, like, somebody tries to attack them or, like, steal from them, but whatever. Actually, this is probably the best. So, after the election, if you win, don't gloat. If you lose, don't despair. This has been hard on all of us. Treat others the way you want to be treated. We all need it. It's better than everybody bitching about how misogynistic. All of the U.S. is racist. Okay, that makes complete sense.
Oh, shit. We have seen the failure of democracy, first with the rise of Hitler, and we had the Britain leaving EU, and now we have Trump.
Oh God,
That's a failure of democracy?
it's actually a proof of democracy.
Britain left the EU and Trump got elected via democratic
Yeah.
system?
Yeah.
Basically what you're saying is you don't want democracy, which means that you're very pro-Hitler.
Yeah, people are dumb.
Wow.
Well, I think we're kind of done. I was like watching the map. I just wanted to see if anything turned anything. I mean, I think they literally shut it down.
Yeah.
I just wanted.
I think once they see this, I'm pretty sure Hillary conceded, and then yeah, it's essentially over.
I'm just amazed that I wanted to see Michigan light up because that's 16 electoral votes. But I can't dude. I am still dumbfounded that he got Pennsylvania. I'm dumbfounded. That blew me away. Like everybody was like, if he gets Pennsylvania, it's pretty much locked and loaded.
Yeah.
And he got it. Only by like barely 75,000 votes, but still. That's crazy. That's cray-cray.
I just can't believe it. All this bitching from people that I thought I respected.
Dude, he looks tired. I'm like just looking at this video.
It's got to be a roller coaster for him because, he has to some extent, believed all of the polling and all of the experts saying, yeah, it's a long shot for Trump.
Yep. Oh, and like
91% chance of a Hillary victory.
Yep. In his locker room talk video, like completely destroyed him. Yeah, Hillary got investigated twice by the goddamn feds. Twice.
Yep.
That takes a lot to make the feds be like, maybe we do it again. That's horse shit. All right. Well,
this was just the best evening I've had in a long time, and not because Trump won, although that certainly contributed to it.
Yes. Let's see. I gotta get in my studio here real quick. We'll sign off here in 1 second. Live streaming. We should do this again though, but we should like figure out a topic that everybody would want to be involved in. I could post up an announcement early so people know to come and join.
Yeah, sounds good.
But all right, guys, this is Trevor with High Desert Tactical, and I got the Examine Life of Gaming with me, Aiden. You guys have been listening to us just ramble on and on. So if you actually somehow magically make it to the end of this video, I appreciate your time. Cole. Wait, let me make sure it's Cole. It's Cole. Where are you?
There he is.
Yep, Cole. Thanks, dude, for being part of it. And then everybody else that was in the comments, I really appreciate you guys hanging out with us and just taking the time to listen to what we have to say. Aiden,
you guys are superstars.
Thank you for joining me, my friend.
Yeah,
and
happy to talk shit about everything.
About everything. Dang it! What the heck?
Staplers mostly.
Staplers, my red stapler. Oh,
the stapler rant was the highlight of my evening, possibly of my whole week. We'll see how it shapes up.
Well, we'll end with the black knot swing line stapler.
Bostitch classic stapler. That is an endorsement for me.
Bostitch classic stapler. Guys, take care, be safe, and be good to each other no matter what you agree or disagree on.